Feeling blue? Well, I got the tier for you. Hey, Wolfpack, we're back with another surprise tier list on the Power Rangers. Doing the final primary color for the Rangers, the Blue Ranger. Woohoo, blue. Hey, Masked Mailard, glad you made it. Alright, making sure my equipment's working. Looks like it. Alright, just making sure. Yep, we're going to do the final primary ranger color, the Blue Rangers. We've done literally all the main colors except for this one. I know there's other colors out there, but we're probably going to count those under 6th Ranger. You know, the purples, the oranges, the silver and gold, all that stuff. We're going to be talking about the last main color, who's shown up prominently in the Power Rangers franchise, the Blues. Yep, ended it off with blue. So, the Blue Ranger in Power Rangers, I would usually say is the second in command, the Lancer, the Red Ranger's most trusted associate, basically the co-commander of the Rangers, the right hand, the number 2, the man or woman who listens to the Red Ranger and is usually in charge if Red is unavailable. Blue has also had a wide variety of different personas. Blue was Billy, who was the nerd. He was kind of the tech guy. We had a lot of tech guys slash strategists as Rangers. Like, we had Billy, we had Noah, we had Flynn. TJ was kind of the strategist. We had Kai. The Blue used to be the brains, the smart guy of the Rangers. But as you can tell, Blue has definitely changed their character type over the years because, you know, gotta spice things up to keep Power Rangers fresh. Hi, Kat. Hey, Akira, glad you made it. Yep, the Blue Ranger, our final primary color for the Rangers. I got all the Blue Rangers on here. Some I don't recognize, but most I do, and I added Psycho Blue, so got a much smaller tier list. So, if this is your first ever tier list, we'll go over it to explain how it works, how we're going to be ranking these. I'll be ranking all the blue characters up here on this tier list from best up top, bottom at the bottom. No, worst at the bottom. Best to worst. Up top we have True Blue. These are the perfect ones, the 10 out of 10s, the S tier if you will. These are the greatest Blue Warriors of Power Rangers history. And we might actually be seeing a lot up here today because blue is an awesome color. Then we have A. These ones, awesome, good, but not great. Had a lot of good going for them. I do have some criticisms, or they just didn't quite reach perfect. So they're going on A, which is good, but not the best. Then we have B. These ones I would call middling. They're fine. They're okay. Had a lot of good moments, but also some lame moments. And we might be seeing a few of the Nickelodeon and Disney era faces down here. But basically B is an average grade. Then we have C. These are meh, kind of forgettable. They didn't do too much. They were definitely interesting in concept, but didn't quite flesh out into the top tier Blue Warriors. Then we have D. These ones were duds. They're plain bad, not all that great, very weak. Could have been something more, but needed some heavy improvements. Then we have Blue Who. Yeah, but I couldn't resist the pun. These are blues I don't recognize. Blue Who are Power Rangers from shows I've never seen, basically, and yeah, there are gonna be some down here, mostly from the Nick and Disney era, because I kind of gave up on Power Rangers by that point. But at rock bottom, we have Barf Blue, the worst ever Blue Rangers, the 0 out of 10s, the total failures, and a disgrace to the name Ranger. And tragically, we will be seeing some faces down here. Hi, Justin. But yeah, I got quite a lot to work with. Got all the Blue Rangers. Blue was a color from Mighty Morphin all the way up to, I think, Cosmic Fury is the last show. I think this is Ollie right here. But yeah, got every blue character. No, we do not have Bridge on this because I'm not counting him since he was a Blue Ranger for like 10 seconds in the background. Only the main blues, the ones who were Ranger for at least a episode. Also, Aqua and Navy Blue Rangers count, or just blue? Yeah, we do have Blake on here from Ninja Storm, right under Tori, appropriately. Also in Go-Go Loser Rangers, the Blue Keeper is a tragic character who have a tragic origin story. A lot of the Rangers do have tragic origin stories in the Japanese version. Yeah, so blue's my favorite color, so I had a lot of characters I really loved who don the blue mantle. Blue, usually the tech guy, the strategist, the mechanic. Blue's often the smart one, the tactical one, and the right hand of the Red Ranger. However, this position has of course changed over time, and we have a very wide variety of Blue Ranger personalities. Exactly like the Green Ranger, Blue has been experimented with over time. We've had some who completely changed the waves, like Tori and Flynn, and we had some who were kind of weird experiments, like Kota and Dax. Yeah, we'll talk about them in time. I find it funny that we saw Bridge as a Red Ranger longer than we've seen Sky as the Red Ranger. Yeah, I heard somebody told me that Sky was supposed to be the one who returned in Once a Ranger, but they were unable to get him, so they got Bridge and just promoted him to Red off screen. Alright, caught up on comments. So yeah, I got all the blues, so I'm sure you're wondering who's gonna go where and when are we gonna start this thing. So let's begin now, shall we? With the first ever blue babe, Billy. It's me, Billy. Yep, Mighty Morphin, first ever Blue Ranger, Billy, going on to True Blue. Yeah, Billy, of course, he's a classic, just like all the Mighty Morphin Rangers. I don't think we've found a Mighty Morphin Ranger I've hated until the replacements started coming in, but Billy's a legend. Billy is basically the loser nerd guy. He's socially awkward. He's the shy one. Kind of the odd man out of the Mighty Morphin group, because most of the Mighty Morphin team are very outgoing, very brave. They know who they are, but Billy, a bit more reserved, a bit more antisocial, very shy, socially awkward. He's the nerd, but he's very good at gadgets, and Billy would basically be the tech guy for the Mighty Morphin team. He and Zordon and Alpha worked on a lot of the Power Rangers equipment, and Billy, I believe, made the Ranger communicators, so he has definitely had a huge influence on Mighty Morphin. Yeah, David Yost, that's his actor. Billy Cranston's name was in a Bioman Scrap Power Rangers series. Woohoo, Billy boy, yep. Also no Aqua Ranger since Dino Charge is Tyler's dad. Guess he didn't count. I think he might be a 6 Ranger, but whatever. Top 20 villains who are right, basically ones whose underlying beliefs that the world or their motivations are accurate even if their methods are wrong. I'm sure people want Rancic to be on that list. Aside from Kimberly and Tommy, Billy got a lot of good development episodes throughout the series. Yeah, he did. Also shows up in Cosmic Fury, yeah, and he has a company. David Yost eventually returned, so very tragic story. Don't want to start us off on, well, a blue note, if you will, but David Yost apparently had a lot of behind-the-scenes drama where he was basically gay, he was in the closet, and the staff were kind of teasing him, making fun of him, and shaming him, and according to David Yost, he suffered some homophobic treatment on the set of Power Rangers, which eventually led to Billy's departure from the show. However, he leaves a lot later than you would have guessed. Billy stuck around for all of Mighty Morphin and was there in Zeo. He was present in Zeo for like the first half of the series until Billy eventually left, and he never came back until one of the Netflix era shows where I guess Billy kind of became the mentor for the new generation of Rangers. I've never seen it because I don't have Netflix. Yeah, that's why we haven't reviewed Fear Street or Creeped Out, but yeah, apparently Billy eventually came back and rose as a mentor figure, and the studio apologized for mistreating David Yost, and I guess they buried the hatchet now, and everyone was of course glad to see Billy back in the saddle. But Billy, awesome Blue Ranger. He undergoes basically character development where he grows self-confidence, self-esteem, he grows a spine, starts standing up for himself, fighting for his friends, realizing that his intelligence is an awesome power, and gaining the confidence he needs to survive the rough world of teenagehood. Yeah, it was very upsetting to hear. Yeah, that kind of sad. David Yost apparently did not get along with people behind the scenes, and honestly, kind of shocked that the other actors didn't stick up for him. I just wanted to punch all those people who insulted him because he was gay. Yeah, me too. That's not cool. I'm kind of surprised David Yost actually stuck around so long. Like, the story makes you think he would have been one of the Rangers to quit in the first season, along with Jason, Trini, and Zach, but no, this guy actually dealt with it and stuck around until friggin' Zeo, where he was there on the sidelines. I don't think Billy came back as a Ranger in Zeo. Again, I have not fully watched Zeo. I've seen clips of it, seen the recaps and Linkara's history of Power Rangers mostly, but I don't think Billy ever became a Ranger again. He was essentially replaced as the Blue Ranger by our next one, Rocky. Yeah, Rocky's back. We'll get to him soon. He was also planned to be the Phantom Ranger in Turbo and in Space. Yeah, I heard that too. Billy was going to be the Phantom Ranger, and this is what he was doing on the sidelines, but unfortunately it was scrapped, and David Yost made it very clear he was not coming back, which I don't blame him. I wish they did resolve the Phantom Ranger's arc at least, though. Also, a Toifi tribe Knight Dan is his Japanese counterpart. What made him an interesting character is because the last name of his character is the Bryan Cranston. Also, how did Billy make a company? Well, Billy was a science nerd, so I guess he became like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. He used his gift at making Power Ranger tech into making tech we use in the future. Apparently Billy's last name in the show is Mitchell, and this led to a fan theory that Captain Mitchell was a grown-up Billy, which I thought would have been really cool. Like, Captain Mitchell from Lightspeed Rescue, he was the military commander, the father of Dana and Ryan Mitchell, who are two of the Rescue Rangers. That would have been pretty cool. Unfortunately, this has been completely debunked. No, Captain Mitchell and Billy Mitchell are not the same guy. Real shame, though. That was a pretty cool fan theory. He was also going to be the Gold Ranger, but Billy couldn't handle the power. Yeah, he wasn't as badass as Jason. Also, I see Death Battle once Billy Cranston fight Sailor Mercury and Sailor Moon, and Chase Davenport and Lab Rats. That would be pretty cool. If anything, Billy is the GOAT, or Guy Brot, greatest Blue Ranger of all time. Also, Akira Myosi is like Billy Cranston. Okay, so a lot of people really resonated with Billy because he was also kind of socially awkward, trying to find his place, and big shock, a lot of kids resonated with that. Billy was easily the most relatable of all the Rangers because he didn't have faith in himself, didn't know what he wanted to be, didn't know his own identity, but over the course of Mighty Morphin, he slowly but surely finds out who he is, grows a spine, becomes tougher, and pretty much wholeheartedly accepts his role as a Power Ranger, which is a very heartwarming story, and I'm very glad David Yost actually stuck around throughout all of Mighty Morphin, because no one can rock blue like Billy, and he was apparently there for part of Zeo. I'll see how they write him out, but fans were not very happy. Billy eventually got replaced as the Blue Ranger by, ironically, Jason's replacement, Rocky, who people did not like as the Red Ranger. But Billy, he's a classic. He stuck around, he came back, everybody was glad that David Yost returned to the series, and eventually became a new mentor for a new gen of Power Rangers, exactly like how Tommy Oliver was in Dino Thunder. Though Cosmic Fury, I heard, is not a very good Ranger show, so I haven't been eager to try it out, but we'll put Billy on a True Blue, because of course he is. The original Mighty Morphin team is pretty much the definitive fan favorites of this franchise, and Billy's no exception. He is a True Blue. Will he be our number one Blue? We'll see as we scroll along. But as I said, Billy was eventually replaced as Blue Ranger by Rocky. I believe this is him. Hi, Axel. It's Wolfen time. Yo, Cat. Hey, Emily, you made it. Not too far. Just got our first man out of the way. Also, William is Billy's great-great-great-grandpa from, the Wild West Rangers episode. Yeah, I saw that. Kimberly met past versions of her friends, who of course looked exactly like their descendants 1,000 years later. Also, Akira Myosi. Alright, read that one. So he isn't in the tier list. The Aqua Ranger, I don't think so. I am saving the Max Cante reference for Wild Force. Yeah, we'll get there. So, I believe this is Rocky. Billy was eventually replaced by Rocky. Rocky was, ironically, Jason's replacement as Red Ranger. However, absolutely nobody liked him as the Red Leader, so he was quickly demoted to Blue Ranger. Yep, we got Rocky on here, and believe it or not, Rocky I might actually put onto A. So, I have not fully watched Zeo, but I heard Rocky got better. A lot of the replacement Rangers for Mighty Morphin very much improved in Zeo. Like, the replacements, I think Aisha or Tanya, Kat, and especially Rocky. Rocky's problem was he was kind of a very blatant stand-in for Jason. They were both the good all-American jock with a heart of gold, and this unfortunately made Rocky feel like an extremely flat character in Mighty Morphin. Then came Zeo, and believe it or not, they fixed him by, gasp, giving him a personality. Rocky was definitely better in Zeo and had better focused episodes. Well, you didn't like his gambling problem? So do you think Rocky should have been the leader? Hell no. Here we go, the second ever Red Ranger, and the first Red to get demoted to Blue in the next season. Yeah, this began kind of a trend where some Rangers got swapped out with different colors, and Rocky, I believe, was one of the first ones. He and Tommy swapped colors. Tommy became the Red Ranger in Zeo because Tommy was a much better character, and translation, the fan favorite one. So Rocky got demoted to Blue Zeo Ranger. He's, I believe, the one with the triangle on his face, but Rocky actually greatly improved in Zeo. They actually gave him a personality. He got a career as a martial artist. He's like teaching at a martial arts dojo, and they frequently hang out here a lot in Zeo. Rocky is actually a lot more effective. He has traits. He has basically anger issues, and he's kind of the brash buttercup of the group. He's the one who likes to fight. He's the one who's always thinking with his fists, and basically Rocky mellows out, grows nicer, starts working with the team, is pissed off that he's no longer the Red Leader, but slowly but surely matures and becomes a worthy Ranger, ironically, as the Blue Ranger. So I will put him on A, but the one reason he is not on True Blue and fully redeemed in my eyes is how they get rid of him. Yeah, we're approaching that Blue soon, but basically they got rid of Rocky entirely in the Turbo movie. Exactly like in Arrow when Laurel was improving as Black Canary, they killed her off. When Rocky was improving, they got rid of him right at the start of Turbo. And no, they did not wait until passing of the torch to get rid of him. Rocky gets hurt in the first 10 minutes of the Turbo movie. I kid you not, hurting himself doing a death-defying martial arts move, which hospitalizes him and completely knocks him out of commission for being a Ranger. So when the Rangers are summoned in the Turbo movie, Rocky is hospitalized for all of the movie, and it's the last we ever see of him, and quickly replaced by a friggin' 12-year-old kid. Yeah, Rocky got cocked, and that's why he's not an S tier for me. He was just Jason too. Yeah, that is exactly how I would describe him. Yuji Mita is Rocky's Japanese counterpart in Choriki Sentai Ohranger. Okay, good to know. I don't know anything about the Sentai, but a lot of my fans in the comments do. Rocky broke his back in the Turbo movie and got replaced by Justin. Yeah, Rocky got replaced by a friggin' kid. How embarrassing is that? This is how we got rid of Rocky. I would have preferred he went to a peace conference and never came back. Rocky actually appeared in Ninja Steel and in the Once and Always movie. Yeah, I did hear, after years later, Rocky finally came back and apparently got his dues. He's in Ninja Steel, which I've never seen, and I've never seen the Once and Always because I don't have Netflix. It's called Oh Blue, and the accident in the Turbo movie. So Rocky can survive explosions with a scratch, but gets hurt by falling like 4 feet. Yeah, Rocky pretty much got caught. Ah, yes, Justin, the Kid Ranger. Yeah, Justin Stewart, we're getting to him. Played by Blake Foster. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun story to tell. Justin belongs in the bottom of the list, so Rocky, I'll put on to A. He greatly improved in Zeo, but I have not fully watched Zeo, so I can't put him higher, and unfortunately, I do remember Turbo awkwardly kicking him to the curb to pave the way for the new Blue Justin, which, yeah, to this day, I still find kind of embarrassing. Ninja Steel and Cosmic Fury, or Once a Ranger, could try their best to redeem him, but when you're the Ranger who was replaced by the child, it is not a proud moment, so he'll go on to A. Good for you, Rocky, you improved, but not too much. But now we get to the one I'm sure you've all been waiting to see. Blue Turbo Ranger Justin. Guys, I'm the new Blue Ranger! No, you are not. Justin, going on to Barf Blue. Is there really any shock? I hate Turbo with a bloody passion, so I will confess Justin is not the worst character of Turbo. I think Divatox and Elgar are easily the worst characters of Turbo, but Justin, not a fan of. He is still one of the worst Blue Rangers of all time, and to this day, I have not changed my views on him. A lot of people say Justin wasn't that bad compared to some of the later Rangers we got, like Troy, Dax, and Sam. Yeah, there are worse Rangers out there, but he is still not one of my favorite Blues. Hey, I'm Justin. I'm the new Blue Ranger. Kaboom. The movie didn't stand a chance. Yeah, best critic Ranger review, honestly. Guys, I'm the new Blue Ranger. Is that cool or what? Yeah, Justin's actor has a YouTube channel. All of the Ranger actors have YouTube channels by this point. I'm kind of surprised we never got to see Justin return as an adult. Yeah, I guess because Blake Foster has kind of become a controversial person in the Ranger fandom. They're definitely not interested in bringing him back. Look, man, Justin is not that bad. Yeah, but he's not that good either, Ira. At least they left behind in space. Yeah, thank goodness. Okay, so let's do it. Let's talk about Justin, the first child Power Ranger, and unfortunately a Blue Ranger at that. So save the worst for our last tier stream. Justin is not a good Ranger. Basically, Turbo gave this kid way too much focus, to the point where he kind of eclipsed all the other Turbo Rangers, even the replacements like TJ, Ashley, Cassie, and Carlos. Turbo was basically the Justin and Divatox show, and it was a big reason why it was so hated. Justin was not interesting, and for one thing, Blake Foster could not act. He was not very good as the kid hero. I've seen like literal Goosebumps child acting that was better than his. Blake Foster sounded very wooden and emotionless for the first half. Now, he did improve, especially in the finale, but it was a slow growing pain. Wow, Ashley's a robot. Based on that take, she's not the only one. Quote from Linkara, and he was right. Justin, not all that good. He was very bland, wooden, and they basically kind of made him this annoying kid. He was the tag-along kid, the obnoxious brat, very short-sighted, did not think ahead, never looked at the big picture, often got into petty squabbles with the Rangers, and the show desperately tried to hype him up like he was Starlight Glimmer or Felicity Smoke. Like, Justin's the best. Justin really is worthy of being a Ranger. No, he's not, and every episode with him was comedy episode. Always a wacky, doofy, stupid-ass comedy. Justin was very smart, a child prodigy. So was Billy, Ira. Where's his praise? Also, Chun-Li was a Blue Ranger. You'd think she would be the Pink Ranger. First and only Child Ranger. Yeah, so, according to Linkara, Power Rangers wanted to copy the success of Beetleborgs. The Beetleborgs were these children who transformed into adult superheroes, and as anyone who's watched Turbo would tell you, this did not work very well. Justin was a kid who somehow turned into a grown-ass adult when he morphed, and yeah, it's a plot hole. 30 years later, we're still talking about it. How the hell does Justin go from a 12-year-old kid into a grown-ass adult stuntman as the Blue Ranger? Like, it's never explained. How does he become an adult? He's like in a full-grown man's body in the blue morph form, and he still has his awkward 12-year-old prepubescent voice. It is so hilarious and cringe. Like, how does he become a grown man? Does the Power Rangers ability just allow you to grow up faster? Also, a huge pin in the only children can become Power Rangers belief, because they give this kid who's a Power Ranger a grown adult's body. I would rather see him as black and blue. You would, Anime Night. Yeah, I did not like Justin. Justin wasn't even replaced in the second half, surprisingly. Oh, don't remind me. That pissed me off. Passing of the torch, that was the two-parter, where basically all the Mighty Morphin actors had to get booted because you're adults now, and there's actually a scene where Justin says, wait, do I have to give up the power too? Oh no, Justin, you get to stay and keep on fighting. And it is just extra salt in the wound. Like, yeah, that's right, Justin, your favorite, gets to stay, kids. And they beam him up so he can be in the lineup standing with the Space Rangers, and it just pisses you off. Like, it pissed me off. Like, yeah, say goodbye to the Mighty Morphin, but don't worry, we're keeping the worst Ranger in the lineup. Also, his Japanese counterpart, Naoki Domen, which is a different version in Kota Ranger. Well, better than the Shazam sequel. Just barely. I'm thinking the reason why he was chosen because the network wanted younger kids to watch the series. Yeah, that was a part of it. Like, I get it. Like, they wanted to appeal to little kids, and Turbo especially was drenched in that, where basically it's a child escapist character where a kid gets to fight with his heroes, the Power Rangers, but Justin ended up being a very unlikable character. He was unwanted, he was juvenile, and a constant reminder of how Turbo was a complete step down from what came before. Like the Morphin Grid makes Justin puberty. That's a stupid power. Chun-Li wears blue. Yeah, I know that, but Chun-Li also wore pink and black. Why did we skip the blue Alien Ranger? Are we doing him later? Yeah, he's on here too. We'll get to him. Yes, he was interesting. He had his father problems again, and he was very smart. He was not bland, and he was a kid genius. He was obnoxious, okay? He hogged the spotlight from better Rangers, and basically a big reason why the Space Rangers got redeemed in space was because Justin wasn't there hogging the spotlight. Turbo was pretty much the Divatox and Justin show, and it made Justin feel like a creator's pet. Like, the show really loved him. They really tried forcing him on everyone. They gave him way too many episodes. One of the worst, he thinks Ashley's a robot, and his birthday episode with the stupid bike and the clown who burps a lot. Those were cringy, man, and the fact that Justin is the dead center protagonist did not do him any favors. Morphing Grid logic. And when he takes off his helmet, he's child-sized again. Yeah, that is stupid, and you can tell. Like, better than the Polymouse from Miraculous for making her fat body into skinny. Yeah. The morphing sequence makes him grow. Then, why even bother getting kids to be Power Rangers if they need them in adult-sized bodies? I'm so glad that whole Rangers have to be children, like under 18 or 20 at least, to be the ultimate warriors, when that is complete bullcrap. Doing blue, I see. I'm blue. Da-ba-dee. Hey, just some random guy who comments. Justin is not the worst Ranger. He is not unlikable. I hate him. I found him annoying. He's not the worst Power Ranger. Hi, Dax, who's also on here. He's definitely been outclassed by worst Rangers, but Justin is not a good character. He's not likable. They finally gave him some relatability at the end of Turbo. So Justin basically has family issues. He has a father who's never there for him. His dad is like looking for a job. He finally gets a career, settles down, and gets to actually be there hanging with his son rather than letting his son go off and, you know, hanging out with these kids who are older than him. Because in Sentai, the Blue Ranger was an adult. Yeah, I got that part, but the show itself did not explain that. It's just, it was in the Sentai footage, and I'm so sick of that excuse. Since we get the Power Rangers mission training, we get Blue Ranger Matt, who is also a kid. Haven't seen that in the American shows, though, so that's what I'm mostly talking about. So, Justin basically gets a functional relationship with his dad again. They're finally there for each other. They finally have their big, happy family. And then the finale of Turbo happened where Divatox won, TJ's a failed leader, they lost the Megazords, Zordon gets captured, and the iconic command center is completely destroyed, and this time it is permanent. The command center is gone, Turbo power is lost forever, and the Rangers are depowered mortals once more. Zordon is taken away by Divatox, and we find out she was apparently working for this higher power, Dark Spectre, all along, a villain we don't meet until in space, so yeah, she retreats, they capture Zordon, the Rangers are complete losers now, and basically, the Rangers don't want to give up, they have to keep fighting, and they need to save Zordon, otherwise evil will take over the entire universe. The Rangers hijack a rocket ship to pursue him in space, but Justin stays behind. Justin doesn't want to give up his family. He's staying with his father and basically giving up the mantle of Blue Ranger. It's like the one time you actually care about Justin, and it's basically his farewell episode. Turbo ends with Justin giving up the power and saying goodbye to the Rangers forever. They launch into space where we get to the best series ever, which was better because it didn't have Justin in it. Talk about TJ now. Almost. Justin has one guest appearance episode in space where he gets like a proper goodbye with the Rangers. He shows up with turbo power somehow still. He saves like his Megazord, his talking car, and Justin actually shows up to save the Space Rangers to pretend that he was this great character all along. My brother Wolf wasn't too upset by him, but that's because he didn't watch Turbo. But yeah, he was definitely improved by then. Justin was a lot more competent and very much likable in that sense. Really wish he was kind of this way for all of Turbo, but it didn't happen. And unfortunately, last thing I have to talk about Justin is Blake Foster actually won people over because he was cool with fans at like Power Expos, but Foster has gotten into some recent controversy. Don't worry, he's done nothing illegal, but basically, he said a lot of stupid and wild things on social media and interviews, which has made people hate Justin all over again, because Blake Foster, I can't really prove this, I don't have like a link or anything right now, but allegedly, Blake Foster was shit-talking Jason David Frank during his suicide, and that really rubbed fans the wrong way. Blake Foster also kind of had behind-the-scenes hostility with Tommy's actor when they were doing Turbo for the first half, so he apparently didn't like Tommy Oliver as much as the fan base did, and so this might be false, but allegedly fans claimed he was shit-talking Jason David Frank after he committed suicide during that tragic time, and he was also very critical of Nate from Cosmic Fury, apparently shit-talking a lot of the Ranger shows and criticizing the other actors, and said some stuff that kind of rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way, so behind the scenes was also not his best moments. Justin was able to convince Nasada to get the Rangers to use their shuttle. Yeah, he did, but I thought they were going to use it anyway. Also remind of Cow, the Howling Star, who is the Kid Tiger Ranger. Oh geez, Justin is overhated. What? And for some reason, Melton Blaster still had his morpher. Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you this. Sorry to bring out the depression, but Blake Foster apparently badmouthed Jason David Franks on his suicide and said some stuff criticizing the Ranger actors on like Cosmic Fury and Dino Fury. Apparently, he was very savage in these interviews and in his comments. Blake Foster hasn't done anything illegal, but once again, fans are not liking him because he said stupid stuff on social media, which is now a common thing celebrities are doing these days, so yeah, not a very good look from him. Nate isn't from Cosmic Fury, he's from Beast Morphers. Okay, my mistake. I have not watched the later Ranger shows. Okay, Nate from Beast Morphers. Thank you for the correction, Axel. I hope the remake doesn't make a Kid Ranger in the remake of Turbo. I hope Turbo doesn't get remade. So yeah, basically Blake Foster, not very liked as the character, and off camera he's gotten into some controversy saying stupid stuff on interviews, so yeah, just more reason to dislike Justin. But Justin himself, I have not changed my opinion on him. I think he was a bad character. In concept, this character could have worked. There were fragments there. He was definitely better in the In Space era, the In Space guest star appearance, and the finale episode, but that's because the finale was a completely different show from what Turbo was. So all they had to do to fix Justin was pretty much change him entirely, but not enough to improve him. He is still a barf blue, and Blake Foster, being a weirdo in real life, has only made him look worse. Well, are we talking about Power Rangers mission training? Not sure. I don't think any of those are on here, but yeah, Justin's still a barf blue, but don't worry, he will not be the worst ever blue, but he's on the worst tier list. But now we get to his replacement, TJ. Yep. Finally made it to In Space, end of the Zordon era, TJ, who was the worst Red Ranger ever, but I will say he improved as a blue, so we'll put him on to A. Yep, we got TJ, the Blue Space Ranger. So, as you know, after the Turbo Rangers completely lost to Divatox and Elgar of all villains, they went to In Space, where they met Andros, a veteran Red Ranger, who instantly took over as the Red Leader, and TJ was demoted to Blue Ranger. However, exactly like Rocky, TJ definitely improved as a Blue. He's still not one of my favorite Power Ranger characters of all time, but I will say he was definitely redeemed as a Blue Commander. Again, Justin was an intelligent kid who was not incompetent. No, he was short-sighted and immature. He was better in the In Space era, was only in one episode, that should say a lot. Yeah, it should. Well, Blue Ranger Matt, who is a kid but never transformed into a Ranger, that is weird. Ah, yes, the Ranger that was demoted from red to blue. Feel like I've seen this before. Yep, exactly like Rocky. History repeats itself. Yeah, Justin definitely not the worst blue. Cough, Dax, cough. No, he was not. Again, yes, he was, Ira. Anyways, we're on TJ now, so I did actually grow to like TJ in Space, and ironically, it was when he was following somebody else's leadership. Andros was a much better Red Ranger in every way, and honestly, something that kind of disappointed me, TJ and Andros don't butt heads a lot, because you'd think they would, since TJ used to be the Red Leader, but no, he's rather cool stepping down and handing over the reins to this more badass Red Leader. TJ became the Blue Ranger, and he's kind of the smart guy. He's the strategist. He comes up with clever plans. He doesn't exactly get too many episodes. He had an amnesia episode, which I thought was one of the weaker episodes of In Space, because the amnesia does not last too long, and basically he forgets who he is, then he quickly remembers who he is. No emotional moments, no satisfying or deep payoff, but that's kind of it. He remembers he's a ranger and gets his groove back. That was kind of his only episode. Otherwise, he's on the sidelines. The fight with the Psycho Rangers, he definitely started showing a lot more initiative. TJ, a lot more of a frontline type of guy. He was there on the front, he was there on the battlefield, he wielded that cool laser axe, did that funny CGI spin. TJ was much more better as a frontline type of soldier. He was fighting the psychos. He led the charge in the secret city. He was kind of the spy guy. He used those gadgets. He came up with the clever scheme to defeat the Blue Psycho Ranger. I kind of like how the Blue Psycho gave him PTSD, which made him a lot more interesting because we never seen TJ shooken up before, questioning his confidence. The Turbo Blue Ranger was my guilty pleasure. I don't know, I am that crazy. Goat Billy. What's your opinion of Bully Cess and Alien Ranger? I think your comment got butchered there, James. The one thing that will stick out in my mind about TJ is how he straight up misses the keyhole during the Forever Red morphing sequence. He was Rocky as a Blue Ranger. I don't remember him. Yeah, Rocky was the Blue Ranger in Zeo. He became the Blue Zeo Ranger and was much better there. TJ, I grew to like him. I used to like him as a kitten, not so much as an adult, only if because I realized he was not as profound as the other Space Rangers were. I just think TJ was much better in here, and as we know, TJ came back in Forever Red as the Red Turbo Ranger, but he also came back in the Mega Force crossover. He and Cassie are the only Space Rangers there we see, and yeah, pretty cool seeing Sulin Ward come back and he's still rocking the blue. So seeing TJ that he's still a blue Space Ranger, definitely much more appreciated than his time as a Turbo Ranger. So I would put him onto awesome. Not a true blue in my eyes, but very close. Donatello versus Billy. I think Donnie might win, honestly. The one thing that'll stick in my mind about... Okay, read that one. TJ also appears in Ninja Steel as the Blue Space Ranger. Okay, he was. I just don't watch Ninja Steel. He was also let the Ninja Turtles in the spaceship and they messed everything up. Yeah, the Next Mutation Turtles. Remember that? So, TJ got a badass moment. He's there in the finale. He reveals himself on their Spartacus moment. They kick ass, and to his credit, he did help during the Zordon era defeat all the original villains of the series. So, he was definitely a vital character by the end of the Zordon era. I'll put him on to A. I like him, but just don't love him. So, after In Space came Lost Galaxy. Or I should do the Alien Ranger. Alright, let's bump off the Mighty Morphin Alien Ranger, who I will put onto C. Yeah, I think this guy was alright. This is the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. As I said so many times, the Alien Rangers took over for the Mighty Morphin team when they were transformed into children, and they were basically substitute rangers. The Mighty Morphins Alien Rangers, just not all that compelling as characters. They're from like an aqua world. They have this weird alien rubber forehead thing. They had really cool forms. I did like their Ninja Ranger outfits. They looked really cool, but again, the Alien Rangers were not very popular characters. He was there. Next. Yeah, we'll move on. How is the best fighting in intelligence and invention? Billy versus Donatello. Oh, who is best fighting? I think Donatello will still win. I heard the female Aqua Ranger had a crush on Billy. That would have been interesting to see. So, the Alien Rangers are substitute rangers. We're putting him onto C because, let's face it, you guys probably forgot these guys exist. So, moving on. Let's talk about a Blue Ranger I love, Kai from Lost Galaxy. And believe it or not, Kai actually going on to S tier. He is a true blue. So, out of all the Lost Galaxy Rangers, I was not expecting to love Kai as much as I did. Kai starts out as basically the downer. He's the uptight, by-the-book cop, the stick in the mud, the one that's kind of a buzzkill on his team. He's the straight-laced soldier guy, always following the rules, following orders, doing what's right, very critical of his teammates. However, Kai undergoes some surprisingly massive character development over the course of the show, and fully evolved into one of my favorite Blue Rangers ever. It is kind of impressive how this guy goes from easily the most unlikable of the core 5 Rangers into one of the fan favorites. Yeah, that was the big problem. The alien characters, no actual character. Yeah, fully agree. Half of them were kind of just there in the background. Imagine people familiar with the Kaku Rangers saw the Alien Rangers, they'd be so confused. Yeah, because in the Sentai, the Alien Rangers were the exact same Mighty Morphin Rangers, but they decided to have a new Ranger team in that, and yeah, just kind of made things weird. Kai, kind of remember, he is the Gorilla Blue Ranger, which makes much sense, like gorillas aren't blue. Who is based on Saizo Kurigakure. Okay, so anyways, talking about the blue I love, Kai. I actually really enjoy this guy. He starts out as kind of the downer, stick in the mud, the buzzkill. He doesn't get along with Leo. He is kind of a wannabe hero at first, but over the course of the series, he slowly but surely matures into the badass Blue Ranger worthy of the name Power Ranger. He is so awesome. I grew to like him. First of all, he actually is good at combat. Kai is a soldier. He's serving on the bridge of Terra Venture. He's up there with Commander Stanton, piloting their giant colony ship across the galaxy. However, he also moonlights as the Blue Ranger. He gets a few episodes, but really good ones, I'm not gonna lie, pretty good, that made him evolve and grow as a person. Kai is the Ranger who changes the most out of all the core Rangers, next to Leo, of course. Kai at first hates Leo. Leo is pretty much somebody he looks down upon and very much is jealous of, because I think at the start, Kai had a crush on Kendricks, but Kendricks is very thirsty for Leo. Stupid Leo with his muscles, his coolness, and his rough bad boy demeanor. Yeah, he's kind of envious of Leo. Leo joins the military, tries helping around the ship, makes Kai's life a living hell. However, we find out Kai actually does have valid points. There is a reason why the rules exist. Kai is kind of a hard ass on Leo, but slowly but surely warms up to him. Leo proves that he does have what it takes to be a good soldier and a good ranger. Kai slowly grows a respect for Leo, and in turn, Leo actually grows to respect Kai, that he actually defends him and tells Commander Stanton that Kai is a good soldier and better than him. And Kai very much matures, he becomes better, and he slowly lightens up. He's kind of the cook for the Rangers, it's the only reason they hang out with him. But Kai loosens up, mellows out, slowly but surely forms nice bonds with everyone. Like, literally the only Ranger who likes him is Kendricks, and that's kind of because they were friends when they were working buddies. And Leo slowly becomes his best friend, which I really liked. Damon becomes his friend. He and Maya have each other's back. And of course, Mike comes back in the picture, and Kai is the most ecstatic next to Leo. And Kai has a few episodes. He has a crush episode, which I thought was pretty funny. A bit cheesy and hokey, but really adorable. Kai gets a crush, and we see a dorky side to him we've never seen before. And one of my favorites is the one where Commander Stanton gets brainwashed by the evil fallen angel monster, and Kai realizes their commander has lost his mind and is being mind-controlled by the monster of the week. He has to go against authority and break the rules in order to save the colony, and I thought it was a huge sign of how much Kai has improved. He locks the commander up in like a broom closet or something and saves the ship and defeats the fallen angel under his own leadership, showing that Kai has fully grown as a character. And by the end of the series, he's openly talking to Leo and treating him as his bro. They're best friends. Do you ever regret stowing away on board Terra Venture? Not once, showing how far they've come, and now Leo and Kai have total respect for each other. They're bros now, and he's also there in Trakina's revenge, but given not much to do like the rest of the Galaxy Rangers. Like Alex, Kai only acts like a hard ass because he cares. Yeah, but unlike Alex, we actually got an understanding for Kai. We do see things through his perspective, and they actually show he does have a valid point, but Kai realizes his mistakes much faster than Alex does. Also, as actors in the Hulu series Interior Chinatown. Yeah, Archie Kai, he studied French. Oh, I did not know that. Tori, Blue Ranger, and one of the beautiful Rangers of Ninja Storm. Okay. Lost Galaxy was one of those seasons I need to rewatch, so I don't have much input here. I love Lost Galaxy. I think it has easily my favorite Ranger team because they're all pretty wonderful characters. Even Damon, who's the weakest Ranger, is at least funny and entertaining. All the Galaxy Rangers are my favorite. I might be doing a top 10 related to Lost Galaxy, but we'll see if there's enough love there. Kai, kinda remember him. Okay. Should I just catch up on comments? Well, Beast Morphers have another blue Gorilla Ranger. Well, it's about time. Yeah, he has the Gorilla Ranger, which I find kind of funny because his animal is like easily the most wild, and Kai is much more by the book and following the rules type of guy, which made it funny because his animal is kind of the ironic polar opposite of his persona. Kai's best highlight episode was Blue to the Test for sure, having to save Terra Venture from going into the sun, from a brainwashed Commander Stanton, and the Frost Monster. Yeah, that is easily Kai's best episode, and I would honestly declare that the highlight of his character development, where he finally loosens up and becomes a true ranger, and has definitely changed for the better by that episode. Like, why we get a Mandarin actor to play the Blue Ranger? Yeah, so Kai kind of began the trend where the Asian guy would be the Blue Ranger. We had Dax, we had Blake, we had Chad, and Ollie here. Yeah, had a lot more Asian guys being the Blue Ranger, and Kai was the first to start that trend. Kind of weird, but I guess they didn't want to have the race-type Rangers again. Remember when Power Rangers VHS only had one episode and they costed $20? Ugh, don't remind me. My VHS tapes, I always got the finale episodes, like the Lightspeed Rescue finale had 4. Guess we saw 100 men versus 1 gorilla. So you're saying that I gotta pull an all-nighter where I do nothing but watch Lost Galaxy like I did with Time Force a bit ago? I wouldn't say an all-nighter. I will warn you, Lost Galaxy has a slow beginning, but it picks up speed by the time the Magna Defender comes along, and by then the show has absolutely found its groove and the pacing is much better. A slow start for at least like the first 10 episodes. My brother Wolf needed a break from the show because the Lights of Orion arc dragged on for far too long. Yeah, if there's any negative to say there, I will say Lost Galaxy, the intro and the Lights of Orion arc might turn some people off from the show because it is a slow start. But it gets so much better. Yeah, good times. Blake Bradley, please. Ninja Storm. Yeah, he's on here. Don't worry, we'll get to him. Let me wrap up Kai then. Like, we only get 2 girls who are Blue Rangers. Yeah, that is a shame. There's only 2 female Blues. We should have gotten more. People accuse of making the Blue Ranger Asian as racist because apparently blue in water is related to Asia. That is stupid. Alright, so wrapping up Kai, I really like him. He is one of my favorite Blue Rangers ever, and watching Lost Galaxy, I did not realize that this guy became so much more likable as the show went on. Like, it really says a lot that this guy went from easily the most unpopular Ranger to one of the fan favorites by the end. So, Kai is a true Blue, but don't worry, he hasn't dethroned Billy. We'll see if anyone will, but yeah, he's going on to true Blue. Kai's one of the best. So, unfortunately, after Lost Galaxy came Chad. Yep, Chad, the marine biologist slash SeaWorld worker who got recruited into the Rescue Rangers. Oh, I really wanted to like this guy. I might put him on our first B. Alright, so Chad was a fine character, but definitely not who I would say is a fan favorite Blue. Chad actually has an interesting backstory, but it doesn't get touched upon until we get a plot focusing on him. Alright, so out of all the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers, I think Chad had the weakest reason for joining the team. He is a SeaWorld performer slash a lifeguard. Yeah, I know the Rescue Rangers should be people who rescue people, but really? Like, we have, like, literally an extreme sports athlete on here, and this guy seems like the odd one out. Chad is a lifeguard, but we find out he has a history of being a badass martial artist. He trained under this badass Mortal Kombat sensei and uses his martial arts for good. And this rarely comes up unless an episode absolutely focuses on it. What a stretch. B for Blue Rangers. Haha. I was gonna call it Beta Blue, but nah. I hope we get a female Blue Ranger named Violet. Wouldn't that be a Purple Ranger? Chad Lee, who's in love with a mermaid that looks like Ariel, then the crappy Disney remake of The Little Mermaid. Yeah, Lightspeed Rescue did a better Little Mermaid than the actual live-action one. So, I will defend Chad did have interesting moments, which is why he's not lower like the Alien Ranger, but he was okay at best. Chad's greatest story... Sorry, I just need some water. Alright, so Chad's greatest moments, he had a romance with a mermaid. It was actually pretty cute and adorable. I would argue his romance with Marina the mermaid are easily his best episodes because we see Chad actually display emotion. He falls for a mermaid. They're star-crossed lovers. It's kind of a Little Mermaid parody. Viper is also in it, so you know I love the episode. Viper pretends she's the mermaid's friend, helps free her. She falls in love with Chad, and Viper uses this to basically kill the Blue Ranger. It goes horribly wrong. Marina and Chad work together. They defeat Vipra's forces and realize that love makes them stronger because demons do not have love. That is easily his best episode. He does have his sensei coming back. His sensei is disappointed that Chad has misused the martial arts way, but ignoring the fact that he's using this for good. The sensei is kind of this stupid jerk who is pretty much blind to the fact that he trained a Power Ranger to use his teachings for good, but no, and he trains this evil monster of the week, voiced by Richard Epcar in Mortal Kombat. Big shock, the monster's evil and betrays him, and Chad proves himself actually worthy by using the Mortal Kombat martial arts to save the day, and regains Sensei's respect. Hey, don't be dissing my future wife, Halle Bailey. Halle Berry way hotter, Ira. Also, I heard Halle Bailey might be an abuser. So, word of warning for you. Also, Chad has an Aqua Rescue too, Zoe's Zords. Oh, Zords, okay, yeah. Yeah, he has the Aqua Zord. So, I did actually really like Chad as a kitten, but re-watching Lightspeed Rescue, I kind of realized he was easily the blandest of the Rangers. Well, maybe next to Dana, but Chad didn't have a whole lot going for him because Chad was already happy with who he is and where he was, which made him kind of pale in comparison to the more interesting characters. I liked him when we were following his romance with Marina, and it's implied Kelsey had a crush on him. Kelsey, like, flirts with him, hangs out with him. He and the Yellow Ranger were easily best friends, which did make him a lot more interesting because we got to see him display a personality and play off of her. He tries to help Kelsey control her emotions because, what was it? He said, like, you're kind of reckless, or like, what was the word, like overreacting or something. He's like says like she's over emotional or something, and I do kind of like that friendship moment they had, which made them very adorable. Other than his romance episodes and his martial arts episodes, Chad didn't really have a deep character arc like the other Rangers did, so I'm sticking him on to B. He was definitely alright, and after the rescue team breaks up, he shows up in the Time Force crossover, where he's back to working as a lifeguard. It would have been nice if they picked up his romance with Marina again, like they're still seeing each other, but nope, he's back to who he is, working at SeaWorld, working on the beaches as a lifeguard, shows up to kill Viper and her stupid demon who die in a one-shot, and yeah, that is easily one of my least favorite crossovers. But Chad, I'll put on to B. He was alright. Hey, V Scorpio, glad you made it. Question, what kind of cat are you? White Persian cat. Also, his Megaform from Water Ice Cannon. Yeah, he had the Battleizer. All the boys had Battlizers. I'm not sure if the girls ever got one. I don't think they made one for the show, which is why. His last name is Li, likely derived from the Chinese surname Li, which means plum or plum tree and is a common name in Eastern Asia. I'm back from the blues. We're wrapping up Chad, so one last fun fact about him. Apparently his actor was a legit martial artist, so it's why Chad got a lot of the martial arts scenes and focus on him. So that was pretty cool. He could actually fight like Johnny Young Bosch and Tommy Oliver could. So very interesting, but he does kind of pale in comparison to the top tier blues. So we'll stick Chad onto B. But after him came Time Force. Lucas. Yep, Lucas going on to True Blue. And I actually might stick him above Billy because I really liked Lucas. Yep, we made it to Time Force with fan favorite Blue Lucas. And Lucas is cool. He's the cool guy, the badass, the guy who's good at racing cars. He has a rough bad boy persona. He has a dark and troubled past, but he's matured into a dead serious, no-nonsense street cop with a heart of gold. Wait, Chad is a B? His martial arts were crazy and slick. I wanted to put him higher, but he kind of paled in comparison to the other Rangers, especially the blue guys above him. I think Power Rangers Super Sentai are more aimed at boys, with the female Rangers hardly get battle armor. Yeah, that makes sense. No, Billy is number one. Well, I kind of like Lucas a lot because Time Force was one of the early Ranger shows I grew up with. I'll be honest, I forgot Lucas's name. Lucas is alright, but he's not above Billy. I got all the Billy defenders coming out. Alright, fine, I'll put Billy back at number one, but I'm still putting Lucas high up. So, I really like Lucas. He's cool, he's suave, he's confident. He's kind of the bad boy of his team until we got Eric later. Lucas had a troubled past. He used to be a criminal. He was in the Fast and the Furious race car circuit. He was friends with the other racers. What was that guy's name? I'm trying to remember him now. That evil mutant racer who was Lucas's bro at one point until he betrayed him and we found out Lucas was actually saving civilians he almost ran over. Lucas is there than Billy because he's in the show I actually watched. He was in That's So Raven. Don't remind me. Lucas. Oh yeah, the car devil drifter and romance Nadira's episode, yeah. BRB going to eat, so I'll probably miss the Wild Force section, so obligatory, never give up. Alright, see you later, Emily. The Blue Rangers are not your favorites, Ira, but the Blue Rangers are cool. He's half Filipino from his dad and German from his mom. Okay, so Lucas kind of has a similar character arc as Jen. He's kind of the cold, icy one. He is not a friend to Wes, at least at the start of the show. He doesn't believe Wes is a worthy Red Ranger. He's got skill, but he doesn't have the maturity. He and Jen are kind of the icy ones. They're the uptight, no-nonsense, dead serious cops. He doesn't like Wes, but he's the first to actually grow to liking him before Jen even does. So Lucas basically also mellows out, kind of a Diet Kai kind of character arc. He grows to like Wes, starts relating with him, opening up more. He picks up chicks in his sweet car. He is very much in love with his car to the point of writing poems about his vehicle. He had that very funny episode where Nadira found his poem book and thought he had a crush on her, but he was writing about his car. Lucas is a ladies' man, which made him automatically a Chad. Ironically, more than the actual Chad. Lucas's old friend was a criminal, not him. Well, they both kind of were in the underground racing circuit, that was my point. The Blue Ranger that wrote a love poem to his car, that was funny, okay? That episode was pretty funny. Lucas slowly but surely warms up to Wes. He starts treating his friends like friends. He becomes a total pal for them. Basically, he's warming up to them. He grows to like Wes. He starts mellowing out, treating Trip like a bro too, and not this pathetic loser. He and Katie like sparring with each other. He has nothing but great respect for Jen and Alex. But then, in the episode where Alex comes back, I like how Lucas is the first one to get royally pissed at how awful Alex is to them. It really shows you how much he's grown to like Wes and respect his leadership, that when Alex is behaving like a colossal dickhead, mocking them and telling them to get off their ass when they're beaten down and bleeding, Lucas, I really wish he popped him one because he deserved it. He's the first to call out Alex on what a shitty leader he is, which really shows you how far he's come, how far he's grown, how much he respects Wes now, that he pretty much lost all respect for Alex and is actually point blank asking Jen, what the hell did you ever see in this guy? Really mad respect for him there. Lucas had a lot more nice episodes where I like he's an underground racer. He and his former mutant friend have this face-off. It's a very nice deep dive into Lucas's character. Then we have where he's the bodyguard for the little girl. It is kind of a more lighthearted episode, but Lucas stands up to a bully who's threatening this little girl and murders the mutant himself because he's badass. Then that episode where he dates Nadira, that is iconic. It is a funny, lighthearted episode. And we do find out in the Wild Force crossover, Lucas is full-blown dating Nadira now, so yeah, I think it might be the first Power Ranger to hook up with a villain. Yeah, I know Lucas's friend was the criminal, but they were both kind of doing illegal racing together. Yay, Billy is number one. Also, that scene where Nadira believed that Lucas had a crush on him and how he had to go on a date with her. Yeah, Dash, that was his name. Yeah, I knew it was a racing pun, I just couldn't remember. I mean, it was painful to see the date between Nadira and Lucas. Well, I liked it because Rancic was forcing him to be nice to her and trying to restrain himself from killing him. And he even commands the chameleon monster not to beat up the blue guy. That was pretty funny. That was probably my favorite Lucas episode. I found it fun and quite charming. Word, I love when Lucas said, "I'll dismiss you," after being frustrated with Alex. Yeah, that was easily one of his best moments ever. He's the first Ranger to finally snap back and call out Alex on being a terrible leader. Then when Wes shows up, Lucas doesn't even bother saying goodbye to Alex. He is completely by Wes's side by that point. I love seeing Rancic as Lucas's wingman, essentially. Yeah, that was funny. Rancic's like in the bushes, whispering to Lucas to tell her nice things and give her gifts, and Lucas is kind of afraid for his life because he doesn't want to piss her or Daddy off. Yeah, he also pretended he was like a dirty hobo to get her to stop dating him. That was actually a funny moment. But Lucas is pretty badass, and as we all know, he's there at the Time Force finale. He finally opens up and shows emotion. It's implied he's pretending he's cool to put on a tough guy front to hide that he does have feelings deep down, and we finally do see these feelings when he's saying goodbye to Wes. They have bro spec for each other, but he's the first to go back into the future. Then they come back in the Wild Force crossover, and I do like Lucas and Nadira became an official couple at the end. Like, Max and Danny, I think, try to pick up on Nadira, but Lucas actually steals her away first, so yep, their romance actually did happen. Lucas and Nadira became a total couple at the end of Time Force, so that is pretty nice. One of my favorite Blue Rangers, I'll put him on True Blue. Yeah, he's almost better than Billy to me, but I'll admit, Billy's still classic, so Lucas might be our number 2 favorite Blue. Alex does not mock them, and again, he was only acting the way because he was trying to save the future. Yeah, but does that justify him being a dick, Ira? Like, he was a Blue Ranger predecessor to the Blue Wild Force Ranger Max. Yeah, he was. Also, remember when Rancic showed up and Lucas could have arrested him? Yeah, that was pretty funny. He didn't do it because he was afraid of Rancic by that time. Imagine Lucas driving occasionally, diving to school, picking Nadira up, giving shoes to Nadira, but under the supervision of a cured Rancic. Yeah, I think he actually likes Nadira by this point because Nadira is now fully redeemed. She and Rancic are now good guys. So dating her is no longer a problem. It was when she was a bad bitch, but now Nadira is good and caring for orphans. So much more healthier relationship between the two of them because Lucas and Nadira are now a couple bringing good to the year 3000. So yeah, Time Force's Blue is a timeless classic. Lucas will be on True Blue. So after Lucas came Wild Force's Max. Yep, we're finally at the polarizing Wild Force. Okay, so I've said this a million times. The Wild Force Rangers were kind of a mixed bag in this season. And Max, unfortunately, was one I did not care for. Max is going on to C. Okay, so Max is not a god-awful character. I wouldn't even put him on the worst Rangers ever, but I don't know, I just didn't gravitate towards him. Max is the quote-unquote tag-along kid who wants to prove to the Rangers that he's an adult and to stop treating him like the child, despite the fact that he looks like the same age as everyone else on the Rangers team. Yeah, it is kind of hilariously awkward. They treat Max like he's younger than he actually is. At one point in his origin, the Yellow Ranger asks, "Hey kid, where are your parents?" It's like, isn't this guy like in his mid-20s? Yeah, he looks like the same age as the rest of the Wild Force Rangers, and they treat him like he's supposed to be like in middle school or high school or something, and no disrespect to Max, he does not look that young. Isa is Lucas's Japanese counterpart, and there was the moment in that episode where he was a samurai. Yeah, the movie episode, I know, Lucas. I can't remember if we saw Lucas again in the Wild Force crossover. He's just kind of Justin too, but not really. Yeah, not quite. We did see Lucas again. He is there in the Wild Force crossover. They got all the Rangers this time. It wasn't just Lightspeed Rescue where the Rescue Rangers all just showed up. Yeah, Lucas is there and he's dating Nadira now. So, anyways, back to Max. The one, like, there are two major episodes he had. One is the never give up. Max goes to, like, this haunted Shinto temple, and Danny chickens out on him, and it's kind of a test of their broship. Danny wants to be there for his bro. Max kind of gives up on their friendship, but Danny and Max make amends. Danny saves him when he's trapped in that giant bell, and they never give up on each other. And the only other major episode I recall is the bowling episode. Yeah, it is weird, even by Power Ranger standards. Apparently, Max used to be a trainee champion bowler. Like, he went to bowling alleys and trained under this former champion guy who passed his teachings on the perfect roll to him, and he uses the perfect bowling roll to kill a bowling monster. Yeah, that is very weird, but it's why we love Power Rangers. Yeah, he learns a bowling super move. That is one of his big character-driven episodes. He masters bowling, and he uses bowling to save the day. That is his power upgrade in Wild Force. Maybe they wanted to do another Kid Ranger, but then they didn't take the chance at casting a kid after Justin. But they didn't rewrite his character to fit his actor's age, so it feels off. But that's just a theory. Yeah, that's what I kind of felt. Like, Wild Force made it very unclear. I think that we're supposed to assume the Rangers are from different walks of life. Like, Max is the kid, Alyssa's in college, Cole is the mountain man, and Taylor is very much an adult. She has a full-blown military career. Yeah, he has the shark and the giraffe wild Zords, which are pretty cool. Also, his attack is Surging Slash. Yep, he's the Surging Shark. I always thought it was Surfing Shark, because that would make sense due to water. So, I used to like Max because sharks were my favorite animal back then, because there's nothing scarier to us cats than a fish that eats you, but he didn't really do anything on the main show. Max was kind of eclipsed by better Rangers, namely Merrick and Cole, and I ended up liking Danny a lot more than Max, even though Max was supposed to have the character development. Like, Max, basically his arc was maturing, growing up, coming into manhood, which is usually always a de facto Ranger character arc, but he just wasn't all that interesting to me. He's exactly like Taylor. He was there, but I didn't care for him. Didn't really hate him, but he's also not one of my favorites anymore, and I believe I speak for all the Ranger fans when I say Wild Force was carried by the villains. The villains were the best characters on the show. The best Ranger was Merrick, the 6th Ranger, the Wolf Ranger. Max just kind of fell into the shadows. He was obscured by much better characters, so I'm putting him on to C. Also, Kai Zemazu is his Japanese counterpart. How funny, another Blue Ranger named Kai. Like I see him as Max Kante of Miraculous without the glasses. Yeah, kind of. He is kind of like that. But Max, basically immature one who grows up. That's his character arc. Not as annoying as Justin was, but didn't really stand out. That was his problem. He was completely overshadowed, so we're putting him on the C tier for Blue. But now we finally get to a fan favorite Blue, the Ninja Storm. Yep, we're finally at her, everyone's Power Ranger crush, Tori. Yep, we're at Ninja Storm. The Disney era of Power Rangers begins. We have Tori, the first girl Blue Ranger, the Ninja Blue Water Ranger. And Tori, yep, we're going to stick her onto S tier, and I will be putting her above Billy because we all really liked her. So, yeah, Tori was hot. She was the badass girl. She's the tomboy, the surfer chick. Kind of Total Drama's Bridget as a Power Ranger. First ever female Blue, and will not be the last, but who doesn't love Tori? Tori was easily the best of the core 3 Ninja Rangers. Sorry, just getting some water, ironically for the Water Ranger. Yep, Tori. Well, Super Sentai's first Ranger is Volshark and Taiyo Sentai's son, Vulcan. Tori Hanson. We won't whine about this one. Yeah, everybody had a crush on Tori. I meant, like, everyone I knew in school told me they either thought Tori and Kira were the hottest Rangers. I always personally preferred Maya, or Vipra from Lightspeed Rescue, but she was my villain crush, so doesn't count. Tori, fan favorite Blue Ranger. She easily was the most likable of the core 3 because she was the only sane one. So, what makes Tori interesting is she was a loser. She was like a total loser girl. She was a failure at her water elements. She was a total newbie, a F student at the Ninja Academy. Tori, Dustin, and blanking out on his name now. Yeah, the Red Ranger. It'll come to me. I know Shane, that was it. Yeah. Shane, Dustin, and Tori, they are the worst students at the Ninja Storm Academy. They fail at their element, they fail at fighting, and they fail as a team. Tori hilariously fails at water. She can't walk on water, she can't control her element, she flails in the ocean. But this all changes when they become Power Rangers, and basically their story is growing badass. The worst students become the best students through their hero's journey, and Tori underwent a lot of great character developments. She's basically a loser girl becoming the ultimate badass Power Ranger, the Blue Water Ranger. She is the water elemental, and she has a lot of the fun weapons. She has that cheerleader megaphone to use as sound waves. She has her surfboard, and of course, all you boys remember her surfing moments. Tori is a surfer chick. She likes to swim and surf to bond with her element, and yeah, it was a giant excuse to get Tori in a bikini. Always out there surfing on the waves, always seeing Tori wet. Really nice stuff and great Power Ranger material. Shane is the worst. Yeah, Shane was just boring. Thank you, Tori and Shane. Oh yeah, Tori was great in Ninja Storm. Tori, the surfer hottie and cool friend. Hey, Kat, glad I could make it. See, we have another tier list. Also have Jurassic June for the Jurassic franchise. I might need to wait until we see Scarlett Johansson's Jurassic Park. I was more into Kelsey from Lightspeed Rescue, personally. Oh, no shame there. I thought Kelsey was hot, too. Yeah, something about those sleeveless muscles really looked hot. Also, Kelsey apparently appeared nude in a werewolf movie, so highly recommend finding that. Also, Tori was played by Wendy Wu, the homecoming warrior. Tori is so cool. Yeah, Tori is basically the tomboy. She's the cool girl. She has a heart of gold. Tori wants to get in touch with her feminine side. She actually flirts with guys and doesn't like that the dudes treat her like a bro. Yeah, believe it or not, this was actually her character arc. Tori wanted to show off her femininity and be a girl more, and believe me, all the Ranger boys watching at home definitely took notice. But really sweet. Tori wanted to basically show that she had a girly side, and she actually did. She had fun being a Power Ranger. She flirted with guys, and as we all know, she and Blake got a lot of shipping moments here. Yeah, here he is, Blake, the navy blue Thunder Ranger. We might get to him next, but yeah, Tori and Blake had this really cutesy romance. Blake was under the influence of a love potion, but realized that he actually did have feelings for Tori, because Tori is like a perfect 10 out of 10. Like, who didn't love Tori? She was just as hot as Maya. But Tori was very cool. She was level-headed. She was the mature, sane woman of her team. She had a very nice, kind warmth about her. Tori was a compassionate person who wanted to do good, even despite all the setbacks her ninja bros always faced. Tori was the only girl on her team, which made her a lot more interesting and stand out more. Tori basically gains self-confidence, stands up for herself, embraces her feminine side, and has this very adorable romance with Blake. I believe they do become a couple at one point. We do see they're definitely flirting with each other, and I wouldn't be surprised if they hooked up at one point after the series. Also, Alice Isla, my OC crush, is based on Tori in her water form. Oh, that's pretty cute, Akira. According to my research, not only was the first blue female ranger, but because she was a surfer, she has a foot fetish fan's favorite because she was barefoot, which I found strange. Yeah, that is pretty strange. She gets the Turtle Mace and Dolphin Zord and the Squid Drill. Yeah, of course, she gets all the water creatures for her Zords, which makes sense. She is the water elemental. Cool, I'll look for that for cough science. Yeah. I see my boy Billy's in S tier where he belongs. Yep, Tori's gonna be the first to dethrone him because Tori was just plain cool. She was awesome. She was a tomboy with a girly streak. She was the hot surfer chick. She kicked ass and she had a lot of the fun gadgets. That was kind of what I really liked about Tori. I do remember getting a Lego of her because I really liked that megaphone she used with the weird sound wave weaponry. That was really interesting, and she of course had a hang glider because extreme sports were definitely in during that time. Cam, Tori, Blake, Dustin in that order. Yeah, I know, some people were upset I put Cam down low, but he was kind of a dick at the start. Also, her name Victoria means victory. Yeah, so far our only bad blue is Justin from Turbo if you're new here, but got a lot more positive Rangers to talk about. Blue on blue, yeah. Also, she is the Aqua Blue. Well, no mermaid attack for Tori. Yeah, that was kind of missed opportunity. Tori fighting sea monsters. Ninja Storm is the only team with a sole female ranger. Ah, Ira, you forgot Kira from Dino Thunder. Kira was also the only female on Dino Thunder, but she was a yellow ranger, and we already talked about those. Wait, a Lego of Tori? Like how? Okay, so back in my day, we actually had Lego Ninja Storm Rangers. Yeah, for real, there were Lego Power Rangers back in the 2000s. For some reason, they stopped making these, or at least stopped selling them in public stores. You could have Lego Power Rangers, and Wolf and I had the Lego Ninja Storm set. We had their Megazord. We had a Lego Shane and Tori. Never got the Thunder Rangers. I had action figures of them already, but so Mom didn't get any. But yeah, we had a Lego set of Shane's Megazord and Tori because we really liked Shane and Tori back then. I remember her central episode where she was teleported in that world where the monsters and Lothar were good people and the Rangers were evil. I heard she did her own stunt when she wiped out. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Tori's actress actually was a surfer, so that's why we got a lot of shots of her surfing the waves, but yeah, who didn't love Tori? She's awesome, she's fun-loving, she's cool, and she's kind of the moral compass of her all-guys team, so kind of, I would say, the Katara of the Ninja Storm team, so definitely going on to True Blue, and she is the first to best Billy. Can anyone defeat a perfect 10 like her? We'll see, but yeah, she's going on Blue. But while we're on Ninja Storm, I think we should also knock out Blake, the Blue Navy Thunder Ranger, who I will have to put on to A. Yeah, I'll put him above TJ at least. So, yep, this is Blake, the Navy Blue Thunder Ranger. The Thunder Rangers were awesome characters, not gonna lie. Unfortunately, Hunter got a lot more to do than Blake. I found Hunter a lot more interesting because, well, there was a lot more spotlight on him and he had the more abrasive personality. Blake was much more of a laid-back, funny ranger, even when he was a villain. So if you've never watched Ninja Storm, the Navy Thunder Rangers were actually bad guys. They were tricked by Lothar into killing the ninja team, and Blake actually fell in love with Tori because they were both the Blue Rangers, so it was hilarious shipping them together. Blake was kind of the heart of the team. He slowly but surely grew. I would say he's definitely kind of the little brother of the team. He was funny even when he was a bad guy. I remember he said, "Hey, do you have my coffee, dog?" Blake Bradley, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, if you don't remember our Tale of the Night Shift, this is the male custodian from the Night Shift episode, the vampire invading the hospital of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, the guy who fell for Margot's charm. Yeah, he actually got a career as a awesome Power Ranger. Highly recommend checking out Cosmic Rust animations for some LEGO Power Rangers morphing. Yeah, I saw the Dino Thunder one. That one was pretty nice. Tori and Kira are the hottest Disney Rangers, girls made in heaven. Oh, you forgot, James. Summer is from RPM is also a Disney girl ranger, and Summer is definitely S tier on the hottie Rangers. Yeah, don't leave out Summer. She was also a hot Disney Ranger. Who else wanted to be in bed with Tori when they saw her on the show? You and everyone, Anime Nights, all the boys loved. It was either Tori or Kira was the hottest back then in that debate. But a YouTuber made LEGO Power Rangers with Lightspeed Rescue and Lost Galaxy. Haven't seen those ones yet. I saw the Dino Thunder one because I was curious to check that out. So, Jorgito Vargas is a Latino actor who have a mom in Argentina and dad in Bolivia. Yeah, I kind of thought he was Hispanic. It is kind of funny how Blake and Hunter say they're brothers, but Hunter confirms they're adopted. Yeah, they are completely from different families, but they're practically brothers. Would have been funnier if they also did that with the Red Rangers as well, than the Yellows just sitting alone. And Hunter and Shane getting a kissing scene, I did not think was something I wanted. His actor also played a junkie in Arrow. Also, the Red Ranger from RPM plays Silva from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, a lot of Ranger actors went on to great careers. Even Tanaya 7 is in that show, Rain. Yeah, Adelaide, she's pretty hot too. Alright, anyways, back to Blake. Blake, unfortunately, was kind of out of focus. This guy is another neglected ranger. Didn't undergo too much character arc, but he was kind of the heart, and he's the first one who comes around to turning good. He convinces his bro Hunter that the Ninja Rangers are not their enemy, and finds out they've been duped, where the Thunder Rangers turn good and become official teammates. And for the rest of the series, he basically falls in love with Tori, and we ship the two Blue Rangers together, which is pretty cute. The only reason Blake is not higher is because lack of focus. That's really it. He didn't get too much. Tori was very much a main character, while he was kind of a side character, but an awesome side character nonetheless. I do recall having action figures of the Thunder Rangers because they were so awesome. But we'll put Blake onto high A. Like, he also played Dave the Watchman in Supernatural. There's 1,000 episodes of Supernatural, Akira. Only like as hottie because he was a tomboy, short hair, and vampire episode. Ishu Kazumi is Blake's Super Sentai Japanese counterpart. Okay, cool to know. Yeah, Blake will stick on to awesome. But next is the Dino Thunder Ranger, Ethan. Okay, I might break a few hearts with this one. This is Ethan, basically the black nerd, not a YouTuber. He was the geeky guy, kind of a new generation's Billy. He's the blue Dino Thunder Ranger, and might upset some people. Billy going on to A, and yeah, I'm sticking him under Blake, because I liked Blake a lot more. So, Ethan Easily, I would say my least favorite of the Dino Thunder Rangers, but that's only by comparison. Dino Thunder had a very spectacular team. However, Ethan, I felt, got the least love from all the characters. A lot of his episodes were very cliche and very much centered around how much of a nerd he was, even though Ethan looks like he can kick your ass in 20 different ways. I, too, also used to have the Lego Power Rangers Ninja Storm growing up in the 2000s. Yeah, thank you, Christopher. I told you they were real, guys. He was also played by Kevin Duhaney. Yeah, apparently Ethan voices Cameron from Total Drama Island. Yeah, you know him, Cameron? He's also the loser nerd. He's the bubble boy, the one who builds that iron suit and beats up lightning. Yeah, apparently he's played by Ethan from Dino Thunder, which I was shocked to learn. Just as shocked to learn that Jack from SPD was the Games Master final boss on the Haunting Hour. Hey, Dino Thunder Blue. Yeah, thank you, Akira. He was Cameron in Total Drama. Essentially the modern Billy when the show came out. Yeah, that's why I like him, but also kind of why I dislike him. Ethan is basically the nerd. He's the new generation's Billy. He's not as awkward or as much of a pushover as Billy was. Ethan is very much kind of arrogant at the start. He gets in trouble because he pulled a sprinkler prank. He timed it to mess with people, so he has a bit of a mischievous side to him, and he's not afraid to banter with his friends, Kira and Connor. These Rangers do not like each other at first, but slowly but surely grow to love each other and break their social cliques and norms, becoming an odd friendship of sorts. So Ethan had basically a lot of the nerd-related episodes. There's the video game episode, which I did not like even back as a kitten, mostly because they didn't do much with it, where Ethan's like teleported to this Warcraft game. He's like in an RPG, and they don't really take advantage of the video game world. It is very cheap and just shot in that New Zealand forest. Ethan is in the video game and he uses his knowledge to defeat the game. Ethan has a bully, and this bully is not very threatening. Like, Ethan looks like he can beat his ass anytime, but yeah, there's the anti-bullying episode where Ethan stands up for himself. The bully gets his comeuppance because, yeah, big shock, Anton Mercer is a no-nonsense guy. He helped with Cassidy's redemption arc. That's right, he did. Essentially the modern Billy. Alright, read that one. I remember he stood up to a bully, then became friends with said bully. Yeah, that one was pretty nice. Ethan does have a smart side. He is this warm, kind-hearted guy, so you do kind of like him. He is not the worst Ranger, but not one of, I would say, was one of my favorites. My problem with Ethan is he was, shall we say, outclassed by much better S-tier characters. Connor was an awesome Red Ranger. Kira was hot. She was Black Canary as a Yellow Ranger, so of course she was awesome. Tommy Oliver was a legend, and Trent was easily the most interesting of the Dino Rangers because he was an evil Power Ranger. Ethan kind of just overshadowed by all the coolness around him. That's why he's down a level for me. Ethan was definitely the brains of the outfit. He adjusted slowly but surely to the Rangers, became more badass than Billy, I will say, but not one of my favorites, and by the end of the series, he's now standing up for himself, having his intelligence help him and help other people. Being a nice guy, Billy was kind of a know-it-all and an insufferable genius, but became a nice guy. Kind of in a similar vein to Sheldon Cooper, but in that Power Rangers fashion. I love his chemistry with Connor. Yeah, he and Connor very quickly became bros. They definitely had a nice friendship. Also in Jungle Fury, they did a game show episode that's just like One Day at Horrorland. Well, another Max Kante version of the nerd. And Malcolm Reed, the new Ghost Rider Mysteries. Also, he looks cool to play Miles Morales. Yeah, this guy could have been Miles Morales. He definitely looks like him, and he is pretty badass. I do think he might be too old now because Miles Morales is a full-grown, is like a teenager. Also, he is of Jamaican descent, better than Black Overdrive Ranger. Oh, yeah, better than that guy. Tyson sucks. Yeah, Ethan, I think, is alright. He does show up in the SPD crossover, and apparently he's become a rich, successful businessman. He owns his own company, just like Billy. He meets with Kira and Connor in their high school reunion, and they're in those terrible crossovers with SPD. Easily the lamest crossover because the Dino Rangers get sidelined in both of them and pretty much barely interact or bounce off of the SPD Rangers. Yeah, I do not like it. I will still defend that it's not the worst crossover event we've had, but it is definitely in the top 10 worst. The episode of them watching the Japanese Power Rangers, yeah, I remember that. Ethan had a bizarre but eventually good relationship with Cassidy, too. Oh yeah, Cassidy, that was his romance. Yeah, I remember Cassidy and her cameraman, but No, I might be mixing them up. Yeah, I remember there's the reporter girl who eventually hooks up with her cameraman. They were kind of the new gen's Bulk and Skull. Yeah, Dino Thunder is kind of a new generation's Mighty Morphin to a degree, and I can definitely see it. Ethan was definitely a new gen's Billy, and tragically not the last, but I think Ethan is fine. We'll put him on alright. The problem with Ethan is that he was overshadowed by way cooler badasses, but I think he's an A-tier Blue Ranger. That's as far as I'm going to put him, so sorry Dino Thunder fans, we'll put him on A. Though he may do better on that eventual Dino Thunder stream. As a Blue Ranger, these Blues are definitely top tier. He is an A. So, after Ethan came Sky. Alright, finally, SPD Emergency. Blue SPD Ranger Sky, who is going on to S tier, and yep, he's also outranking Billy. Finally made it to one of the legendary Blue Rangers, Sky, the Blue SPD Ranger. And if you're late to this stream, no, Bridge is not joining us because I'm not counting him. He was Blue Ranger for like 10 seconds in the background. Sky was a pretty cool. Sky, woohoo! Didn't he take a girl to prom in an episode as well? Yeah, he did. Crossovers are essentially a passing of the torch to what came before to the next. Yeah, but when you disrespect the Dino Thunder Rangers, it felt like a slap in the face. Yeah, he was the Triceratops Zord and the Stegazord. In Dino Thunder, they were teenagers with attitude, with actual attitude, yep. Sky Tate, yep, we're on Sky. Sky was pretty developed. That's why we're sticking him onto S. Sky easily had the best character development out of all the Rangers. I really liked Jack, but was super disappointed with him in the finale. But Sky, huge improvement. Sky starts out as the arrogant know-it-all, once again, another by-the-book cop, kind of like Kai, but with a lot more in-your-face attitude. Sky, very much arrogant, egotistical, full of himself. When Doggy Kruger asks him if one of his friends should be Red Ranger, he's kind of sexist and dismisses Sid because she can't be Red Ranger, she's a girl. This is despite the fact that A-Squad had a girl Red Ranger. And he's also mean to Bridge because he sees him as a weirdo. And completely distrustful of Z and Jack when they join the Ranger Squad. So Sky is pretty much an arrogant know-it-all, kind of the Vegeta of his team, but once Jack and Z join up, he slowly but surely gets humbled. He wants to become the Red Ranger like his dad. His dad was killed in combat, and he seeks to be a great hero like him. Sky is kind of a military brat. He wants a great military career just like his dad did, but then Kruger kind of low-key punishes him by not giving him the red mantle. He instead gets the position of Blue Ranger. And Sky is kind of butthurt and pissed off about this for the first few episodes, but slowly but surely grows and accepts it. He's Red Ranger worthy in the physical department, but he was a massive a-hole, and Doggy is a practical joker, so he made him blue, and it was so funny seeing him react to his color. Yep, he was pretty much demoted to Blue episode because Sky is pretty much told point blank he is not worthy to be the Red Ranger. And in a twist, we find out the entire SPD show was actually a secret test of character. Doggy Kruger was actually trying to humble Sky and teach him morals and maturity so Sky could earn the Red Ranger mantle. Yeah, the entire show is apparently a big test if Sky could earn being the Red Ranger. He had to be humbled, he had to learn to care about people, he had to basically come down to earth, stop thinking so highly of himself, and mature into a better man worthy of being the Red Leader. Jack is promoted to Red Leader, and this I was kind of questioned because Jack is literally some hoodlum off the streets who got the position as the Red Ranger, so it was kind of a humbling experience that Sky had to obey his orders and listen to him, even though it's clear he didn't like it. Like I said, Sky definitely had the best episodes in development of SPD. So, yeah, this is why Sky is so high. Sky actually did have a lot of great character moments. Some of his episodes are surprisingly deep, profound, and we get a better look into him. Basically, we humanize Sky and show him growing up. Sky lost his dad. We find out this is a huge emotional pain for him. The evil mirror monster guy, the Hannibal Lecter mirror monster, uses this to make him cry by reminding him of his painful memory and escape in the reflection from his single teardrop, which is pretty cool and pretty clever. Sky fights that evil mirror dude, overcomes his emotional pain. Sky also gets very much humbled in the body swap episode. There's this evil alien who can hack Megazords, and he tricks Sky into swapping bodies with him, and the monster of the week becomes the Blue Ranger, while Sky is trapped in this monster who can't speak English and thrown into prison. And we see Sky actually humbled, using his wits and realizing that the aliens and mutants they chase are people too. He uses his brains to help save the day and defeat the Sky imposter, which shows you that he is a very capable warrior. Doggy is a good fatherly material for the Rangers, just like Lynn from Korra. Yeah, Doggy Kruger is one of the best characters ever. I really love him. Even worse for Sky, a criminal became the Red Ranger. Yeah, that definitely knocked him off his high horse. Yeah, Doggy Kruger is one of the best mentors ever because basically Doggy was not afraid to call out the Rangers on their BS and tell them that they sucked. Yeah, if they did something wrong or were arrogant, Doggy would very quickly discipline them, and Sky was definitely one he lectured the most because Sky wanted to be a great soldier like his dad, like Doggy Kruger, like his heroes, and he had to basically earn that. Sky was trained physically, but he didn't have the mental capacity or maturity to handle being a full-blown leader. He was Jack's right-hand man, and he and Jack develop a bro-spec for each other. They both fight over sacrificing themselves for a comet heading toward them. He actually shows regret over letting Jack take the fall and dying, but is completely ecstatic when Jack returns, showing that he has grown to respect the delinquent, and in turn Jack actually grew a broship with him in turn. That honestly felt more like Kruger was punishing Sky even more. Yeah, it did. Then this is better than Miraculous, like Chloe gets replaced by her sister Zoe to be Queen Bee. Yeah, much better. Doggy might be my favorite mentor. He was so honest, like the monkey trainer. Yeah, Doggy Kruger is easily an S-tier mentor. I might have to put him second place behind Zordon, though, because Zordon's a classic, but Doggy Kruger would be S-tier on my mentors tier list, because he was not afraid to tell the Rangers some harsh truths, how it is, and that they were bad when they were bad. That's what made Doggy Kruger so cool. I would say Doggy Kruger was kind of the Optimus Prime to these Power Rangers. But anyways, back to Sky. Underwent a lot of great character development, and exactly like Kai, I did not expect to like him as much as I did. They fully redeem Sky, and by the end, in the finale, he's taking charge, listening to Jack, and at last earns the Red Morpher. Once Jack retires, still don't like that was BS, Sky gets his promotion and is completely humbled. He would now say that any of his Rangers would be better as a leader than he would be, which shows Doggy Kruger that he earned the Red Morpher. And then, apparently off-screen, he got a promotion to Commander. I guess Sky is now the new Shadow Ranger, because the new Red SPD Ranger is Bridge, since Sky was supposed to show up in the Once a Ranger crossover, but they couldn't get the actor, so instead they got Bridge and made him the new SPD Red. So I presume Sky might be the new Shadow Ranger, since that's what Doggy Kruger was when he was in charge. Will you ever do a mentor tier list if you haven't already? Haven't done it yet. I'll find it soon, though. Or have to make it. We'll see if we do a mentor tier list, but yeah, Doggy Kruger would be on S tier for sure. Like I see Doggy Kruger as a better dog hero than Miss Hound. Yeah, probably. So, Sky underwent a lot of great character development, a lot of maturity, and truly earned his wings as a Red Ranger, but to do so, he showed us how he was great as a Blue Ranger, and he is ultimately one of the top 5 best Blue Rangers for me, so he's going on True Blue, just barely beaten out by Tori because, hey, let's be honest, we all love Tori. But Sky, he is a True Blue, S tier for him. Gold medals for SPD Blue. Alright, so after Sky came Mystic Force's Madison. Yep, we're at the second female Blue Ranger, Madison. So this was kind of a joke at first in Mystic Force, where basically the two girls, with one's a girly girl and one's a tomboy, Vita and Madison, got the polar opposite Ranger colors that you would associate with them. So Vita, the tomboy, was the Pink Ranger, and Madison, the super shy, nice, girly girl, was the Blue Ranger, who most associated with the tomboy, because Tori was kind of a tomboy. Madison, I might have to put on to B. She was easily one of the more likable Mystic Force Rangers, but that's not saying much. Basically, Madison was the shy, girly girl. She was the socially awkward one, quiet, reserved, supportive, but didn't have too much to do. The Mystic Force Rangers, again, kind of a mixed bag like the Wild Force Rangers for me. Also, the Blue Turbo Ranger recently had a birthday as well. Happy birthday, Blake Foster. Yep, we're on Madison. I would have loved to see him return as the Shadow Ranger in the future. I mean, that would have made sense because Bridge did say he got a promotion. My Shadow Ranger question would be more appropriate here. Tier list battle armors. Oh man, there's so many. Is played by Melanie Vallejo. Madison. I wanted to like her since she was a good support for the team and had some good episodes, but like with the Mystic Force Rangers, there's a lot holding her back. Yeah, namely, the Mystic Force Rangers could have been interesting, except for Nick, he sucked, but yeah, the Mystic Force Rangers were just kind of bland. They weren't fully developed. They were, I would say, undercooked as characters. They definitely had cool powers, cool action. Madison was easily one of the most likable on the team because she was the nice, shy girl. You felt for her. You liked her story. She had a crush on Nick for some reason. She deserved way better, but yeah, she was just kind of She had her moments, but also kind of bland. The one thing I do remember is she was afraid of frogs. Yeah, that was her thing. She was afraid of frogs, and she conquered her fear by kissing a toad who turned out to be a prince. That's right, Madison does Toad. Mr. Toad, how many licks of you does it take to get locked away in a Rhode Island state prison? Just one. Yeah, Madison actually conquered her fear of frogs by kissing a toad, and by pure friggin' coincidence, the toad was a prince. Yeah, they do a Princess and the Frog parody with Madison, and apparently she developed a crush on this guy who she met for like 5 seconds. Vita, the vampire gothic tomboy, hot. We should have a goth girl be the Black Ranger. How has that not been done yet? Yeah, she's the Mystic Mermaid. Also, Irara Ozu is her Japanese counterpart. Since Mystic Force is mentioned in a book and Ninja Steel as a magic history book, Mystic Force was such a middle-of-the-road season. Yeah, that's what I would call Mystic Force's basic Power Rangers. They had the structure of a typical Power Rangers formula and show, but they didn't do anything with it. The characters did not feel like they were developed. It was very much held by the villains. Optimus the Master and his villains were very much the real stars of the show, who pretty much carried it because they were far more interesting than the core 5 Rangers. Mystic Force is an average Power Ranger season. It had a lot of bad moments, but I would say it was okay. It's basic baby intro to Power Rangers, and unfortunately, that did affect the characters, which is why Madison's on B, and yes, she is below Chad, because Chad at least had a romance with a mermaid. Madison had the powers of a mermaid, yet was still somehow not super interesting. Then we get Doggy, Aga, or Daggeron. I have a crush on Tori, a crush with Tori and Madison. Yeah, I can understand that. Madison was pretty cute. It was supposed to be funny because she's the girly one and she's the tomboy color ranger. Yeah, any ranger that isn't pink or white, if it's a girl color, like the girly girl was always the pink or white ranger. If they were a different color, like yellow or blue, they were a tomboy. But Madison was anything but. She was the shy, girly one. She had a crush on Nick for some reason. He was the worst Mystic Force Ranger. But yeah, that was about the gist of it. She's a basic character, which is why she's going on to B. Her Senate counterpart was also afraid of frogs and kissed a frog who was a Gold Ranger. Yeah, the Frog Ranger had a lot more interesting parts than her. Back in the 2000s, I myself could never get into Mystic Force that much. Felt like Halloween Town mixed with the Power Rangers. Yeah, I kind of stopped watching at SPD. Tragically, it made me miss out on RPM, but I didn't miss too much after dropping out of Power Rangers by then. Mystic Force did not look interesting to me, and I kind of got sick and tired of Power Rangers by that point. I love how Daggeron is played by Doggy's actor. Really all I remember about him. Well, since Blue, Water, but love having a Mermaid Ranger, which is a shame Marina from Lightspeed Rescue never made her a Mermaid Ranger. Yeah, she should have been a cool 7th Ranger. Now the Diet Johnny Cage reject Dax Low. Udana and the Night Husband had more interesting focus. Yeah, literally every character but the friggin' Rangers were interesting on Mystic Force. Sorry, that's just my water. But yeah, she's going on to B for basic. But now, Operation Overdrive, yep, we're back. And I know you're all happy to see this. Shut up, Dax! Going on to Barf Blue. Yep, Jax Low going down low to Barf Blue. And if you're still watching Ira, yes, he is a worse Blue Ranger in every way next to Justin. Shut up, Dax. Yeah, Linkara said it best. Dax, awful. Everything about Operation Overdrive is awful, except for the butler. He was funny because he snarked at everyone, but yeah, easily our worst Blue Ranger. This guy might be our dead last Blue because Dax is annoying. Dax is basically a stuntman and the movie buff and our plucky comic relief, except they forgot to give him the comedy. Dax god-awful. He's annoying. He never shuts up. He's always talking about movies. Even in life and death situations, he's talking about, this reminds me of this movie I starred in. Oh, this is just like on that movie. Did you know I starred on this movie? I was like, oh, shut up, man. Shut up. He basically is supposed to be funny because this grown-ass man is acting like a hyperactive first grader, but it just made him obnoxious. According to the staff, they wanted to make him like Bridge, who is also the quirky, funny weirdo of the group, but he just came across as an obnoxious annoyance. Dax is, believe me when I say, Dax is somehow the worst ranger on a team of worst rangers. That is how bad this Blue Ranger is. Even people who defend Overdrive hate this guy. He is worse than Justin, worse than Troy, worse than Sam, worse than Divatox. That is how hated Dax is. You want to talk about the good guy already? I'm Scottish. Hi, Dax, congrats, you're just as cool as the child. Easily our worst Blue Ranger by far. Ira, if you're still watching, Justin is a saint next to this guy. Better than Justin. Dax is incompetent and absolutely annoying. Yeah, the other Overdrive Rangers are bad too, but this guy makes every other character bearable in comparison. Yeah, that really says a lot. It should tell you everything that out of all the Operation Overdrive Rangers, this guy was the chief worst among them. That is how bad Dax is. And everyone quotes Linkara, "Shut up, Dax." Yeah, this guy can't keep his trap shut. He is awful. They try to make you feel sympathy for him because nobody understands him. And he has humanizing moments, but there were just too little too late. Far and few in between. They had moments that tried to humanize Dax, but he was back to his annoying self by next episode, so that did not make him look good. A villainess reveals herself to Dax and stolen something important, while Dax does nothing. Good thing that item is a fake. Yeah, not really a good actor either. He's played by Gareth Yoon. Also, he graduated from Sydney National Institute for Dramatic Arts. Better than Justin. I think Justin is slightly more tolerable because he did get better by In Space. And who can forget this epic moment with Dax? One of the villains, Miratrix, tricks him into stealing an important item for one of the jewels. What did he do? He lets her go. Worst Blue Ranger ever. Yeah, Dax easily barf blue. Will he be outclassed in terms of worstness? We'll see, but I think it's agreed. This guy is easily one of the worst Blue Rangers we've ever had. So much I think Justin is better in comparison. It's head on the wall. What a useless Blue. Yeah, he deserves to be here. Alright, but next, finally get to fan favorite Flynn. Power Rangers RPM, get in gear. Who are you, Blue Ranger? Red's the leader, black's the muscle, yellow's the girl. What does that make you? I'm Scottish! Yeah, Flynn going up onto True Blue. Flynn, awesome. He didn't make it high on my RPM tier list, but as a Blue Ranger, he is a true Blue. Flynn is kick-ass. He is awesome. He is larger than life. The actor playing him looks so cool. He's like having a friggin' blast, and despite having a lack of screen time, Flynn has a very likable character. He is cool, he is a boisterous bruiser, he's a mechanic, but so is everyone else on RPM, and easily one of the most underrated Blues we've ever had. Yeah, I'm Scottish. Flynn goes into S for Scottish. Also, he is just seeing him fighting Vesperia in Death Battle. Okay, so Flynn might be the most easy to comprehend character on this list. I loved his origin episode, which is what made me like him a whole lot more. Flynn basically was also a loser. He was a wannabe hero. He wanted to be the good guy like the heroes in his comics. Flynn wanted to do good. He tried being a hero, but every time he failed. He tried like defending a girl at school. It ended with him getting beat up, and the girl was a complete bitch to him. Fuck her, she deserved it now. He tried helping people. He joined the Peace Corps. He joined the fire department. He got a whole bunch of odd jobs, ironically trying to be a rescue worker, and failed every time because he disobeyed orders. He tried to do the right thing, ended up breaking a lot of rules, causing more damage, causing more trouble, and his dad wasn't a bad guy, but he was telling his son, give up on these heroics, they're nonsense, they're childish fantasies, you're never gonna be a hero, this world doesn't want good people, and basically encouraged Flynn to give up. Then the Vengeance Apocalypse happened. We learned from a civilian that there's innocent children and civilians lost in the wasteland being attacked by the machines. Helpless refugees can't get out, and despite having no reason to go back and save them, Flynn abandons his dad, abandons going to the dome city of Corinth to save himself. He hijacks a school bus and goes to save helpless civilians out of the goodness of his heart. And it is a badass, super duper epic Power Rangers moment. He doesn't have his ranger abilities at this point, but he's driving a school bus through a war zone, picking up a bunch of refugees being shot at by killer Terminators. Sorry, just catch up on comments. You forgot Theo, the blue jaguar from Jungle Fury. Oh, I did? Okay, sorry, I must have skipped him. If this is, I think this might be him. I will put him onto Blue Who. Then he became an actual superhero. Yep. Also, he's a Lion Ranger. Sorry, I wanted to talk about Flynn. I must have skipped over Jungle Fury. Yeah, never watched Jungle Fury, so not much to comment. Our first Blue Who. That might be him. I thought that was Ollie at first, but whatever. So, back to Flynn while we're on RPM. He saves civilians and actually makes his dad proud of him. It is a very touching moment. His dad finally admits he was wrong. His son is a hero. He risked his life to save these civilians that don't even know him. He doesn't know them. And he helped people escape the killer machines and brought them to Corinth. And this earned him as a candidate as an RPM Ranger, becoming the Blue RPM Ranger. And tragically, he doesn't get too many spotlight-focused episodes, but Flynn is basically finding himself. He joins the RPM gang. The show, basically more about Dylan and Ziggy. They were kind of the real Ranger protagonists, but Flynn, cool guy, working on mechanical stuff. All the RPM Rangers work on their cars, and I do remember his other major episode. He and Gemma have this cutesy kind of shipping romance. Gemma actually bonds with Flynn because she doesn't know him that well, and together they actually bond and work on a super weapon. I was kind of disappointed this went nowhere, but apparently Flynn and Gemma were supposed to become a couple. We do see moments of them falling for each other. Gemma develops a rather cute crush on Flynn. They're both kind of the boisterous bruisers. They like fighting, they have fun, and they build a new super weapon for the Megazord. So that also earned him high points. Flynn builds that tire soccer ball weapon that they build. It's this super cannonball that the Megazord kicks at giant monsters, killing them in an instant shot, showing that Flynn does have a genius underneath his rough exterior. And I do kind of wish he and Gemma had a romance. It's implied they fell for each other, but they go their separate ways. Gemma and her brother Jem join the military, and Flynn opens up a mechanic shop with his dad, and they're basically fixing cars because it's what he was best at. But Flynn, he is awesome. He is a true blue. He is an underrated Blue Ranger, and I defend that this is a great Scott. So he's going on to S tier. Yeah, I wish Flynn and Gemma had more moments together, too. Yeah, they were cute together, surprisingly. I think they actually related with each other. Gemma wanted to understand her teammates more, and Flynn was the one person she could not get a read on, so she bonded with him more and slowly but surely developed this very obvious crush on him. Wish they hooked up together. They had a missed opportunity. Gemma and Gemma actually came back in one of the Beast Morpher shows, but then no word if they're still dating or even seeing each other. Will Gold and Silver tier list be next? Maybe. We'll see. I might just count like all the 6 Rangers under one. But Silver and Gold definitely. Yeah, Flynn and Gemma are so cute. They should have been a couple by the end, but no, it was Ziggy, Dr. K, and Dylan and Summer were the primary couples. I watched Jungle Fury. It was okay. I'm a sucker for anything that involved animals. I forgot about Theo, too. Yeah, sorry. I believe this is the Jungle Fury Blue. I have not watched Jungle Fury, so I have no idea who this is. We're sticking them onto Blue Who. Yeah, sorry. Getting to a lot of the unknowns coming up, but I do have some to say. Anyways, Flynn, True Blue. He is awesome. Alright, gonna use my first restroom break, but tell me if you guys want a different blue next. Cast your vote who you want to talk about next, or we could just presume in order. BRB. Alright, Cat's back in blue. Just catch up on comments. Really liked them. They were cute. Flynn and Gemma. Wish they had more moments, since he has a twin brother. Also, Retsu Fukami is Theo's Japanese counterpart. Well, Ajin Abele is his actor. Okay. What do you think of having a female as a White Ranger? I was fine with it. I remember Alyssa from Wild Force was a White Ranger. Spoilers, we did White Rangers with the pink. I found a tier list actually combined them. Yeah, I'm fine with a girl White Ranger. I grew up with Alyssa from Wild Force, so yeah, no prob. Luann Martin, which is lame that we never have a Jungle Fury Thunder Brothers with the Black Ranger. It has to be a 6 Ranger, Extra Ranger tier list given how varied the colors can be. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The 6 Ranger is usually the odd color out. We might see a lot of silver and golds under that tier list. Okay, you want in order. Let's just go in order. We could do the Blue Psycho Ranger next since we skipped TJ. I might do Blue Psycho last just to end on a positive note. Alright, people want to go in order. Alright, so after that, I believe we had Kevin. Yep, here he is. Kevin from the Nickelodeon era Power Rangers Samurai. Kevin going into D. Ugh, poor Kevin. He was boring. That's really my problem. Kevin was boring. Kevin's the emotionless one. He comes from a samurai lineage. He's emotionless, stoic, no nonsense, and very, very dull. I remember he went fishing for his Megazord. He had like the Swordfish Zord. That was my intro to him, and honestly did not really care for him. Samurai is not a good Power Ranger show, and the sensei being a dickhead in both the show and real life did not help matters. He really liked Jaden. They were also cool in Hyperforce, which was cool. Well, I remember Kota and Preston actors are real life brothers. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Billy from 2017, just to get the bad out of the way. We'll get to him later. I'm Kevin. I am here to fight for you. Car window goes down. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know the Red Ranger was a girl. Linkara. I mean, if you were a guy, I wouldn't mind showing my chest to you. Yeah, Kevin is the blue samurai ranger, and not very interesting, honestly. I think they wanted girls to watch the show, so he was clearly the hot guy. I think Kota did a much better job at that, but yeah, Kevin was boring. He was easily like the boring, forgettable one. I really hate the sensei in Samurai, and he basically showed this guy a lot of love along with Jaden because they were of samurai lineage, unlike that loser Antonio. Yeah, that's a good lesson for kids. You're not special unless you were born special. Kevin was lame. Like, he's just boring. He didn't do anything. He didn't stand out. I do not recall many episodes with him because I was just kind of trying to bear through Samurai since it was not a good show. Black goth female ranger and red female red ranger like Claire Redfield. Yeah. What do you think, or have you seen Hyperforce with Bulk as a ranger? I've not seen the Hyperforce stuff. His actor was on Kickin' It. Poor Antonio. Yeah, you really felt sorry for Antonio. Jaden and Kevin got a lot of praise, and I don't know why. It was completely undeserved. He did even less than friggin' Jaden did. Kevin was just a bore. It's just why he's going on to D. He's a dud. Alright, so after that came Noah from Megaforce. Once again, we have a new generation's Billy. Yeah, it is much more obvious this time. Noah is a watered-down Billy, and I might have to put Noah also onto D. He was a bit more interesting than Kevin, but again, this is just Billy. Like, this is literally just Billy for a new generation. Megaforce, not a good show at all, and that definitely reflected in their Rangers. I hated him the least out of all the Megaforce Rangers. That's as high a praise as he'll get, but basically this is Billy. He's the loser nerd, he's the dweeb, he's the sensitive guy to Troy's manly man, but again, the Megaforce Rangers, not very well written, not very interesting. The actor playing him is fine, but didn't do much. Yeah, Noah's just Diet Billy. Hey, Noah, yee. Noah Carver. That looks like a cool live-action Max Kante. You think everyone on this list looks like Max Kante, Akira? Poor Antonio, yeah. So, this is just Billy. Like, he's just a clone of Billy. He's the shy, awkward nerd learning to grow self-esteem, self-confidence, standing up for himself, and honestly, that kind of made him a lot more forgettable because he's a past character just being revived for a new generation, but nothing about him really stood out. He definitely fell under the shadow of these much better Blue Rangers up top, so I'm going to put him on a D just because he's a total rehash. Megaforce had some of the worst Rangers ever, better than Overdrive's, but just barely. He is the one Megaforce Ranger I hated the least. Played by John Mark Ludemark. They tried adapting 2 seasons, and they tried adapting 2 completely different characters into one character across 2 seasons and completely failed. Yeah, that's kind of why Megaforce completely fumbled the bag. He's the Shark Ranger 1. Yeah, we'll put Noah on to D. Just Diet Billy. Then next came Kota. Alright, so I actually might put Kota onto A. We'll put him above Rocky, but below TJ. This is Kota from Dino Charge. So, I have not fully finished Dino Charge, but I know he's a caveman Power Ranger. Yep, we boys had Maya as our jungle princess. Girls have Kota as their jungle boy prince. Kota, badass, he's a Neanderthal, he's from the past, and really just plain fun. It is fun seeing a caveman, not only in our modern times, but as the Blue Ranger. Yep, Kota's going up on high A. So, I've only just begun Dino Charge, not super deep into it because I'm like balancing out a whole bunch of other things, but yeah, I'll put Kota on A. He was cool. It's a caveman as a Power Ranger. That just screams badass. I too have Kota as my Jungle Boy Prince. Yeah, we boys had Maya. The girls get Kota, who's obviously hot guy, taking off his shirt a lot. He's kind of like Jacob from Twilight, but more badass because he's a Power Ranger. Kota was surprisingly great, especially since he was a caveman. Yeah, Kota's trying to fit in our modern era. It's not too cringy, the fish out of water jokes, but Kota they did a lot more with. Again, he's a badass Neanderthal and uses his sheer strength as a badass Blue Ranger. He's the muscle of their team. He's the big guy, the bruiser, and very much a fun, charming, likable character. So I will put him onto A. I'm just not deep in the show to say if he's S tier, but yeah, the concept alone of him is just plain awesome, and unlike Justin, he's actually working out very well. Yeah, Kota, woohoo. Kota's my Jungle Boy Prince. Hyde is his Japanese counterpart in Gosei Ranger. I remember Kota played by Yoshi Sudarso. What if Encino Man mixed with the Power Rangers? Yeah, that's pretty much it. In Gosei Ranger, there's a Green Ranger who is a partner to the Blue Ranger. He's played in the YouTube. Yeah, a lot of the Rangers have at this point. Even Andros is on YouTube. Shelby, Kota, and Tyler were definitely the best of the Rangers in Dino Charge. The others were just alright. Yeah, I heard people also really like Sludge. I haven't gotten too into him, but Sludge apparently is a underrated villain in the Power Ranger community. He made the Red Ranger watch the entirety of Kaiju Ranger, I'm pretty sure. People say he's inspired by Vandal Savage. I would say he's kind of like Encino Man, a caveman in our modern era getting into wacky hijinks. Yeah, we'll put Kota on A because a caveman Power Ranger is just a bloody awesome concept. So, haven't watched all of Dino Charge, but I can definitely see potential in this character. He is an A for awesome. So after Kota came, oh boy, Preston from Ninja Steel. I have not watched Ninja Steel, so he has gone on to Blue Who. I know nothing about Preston other than he's an amateur stage magician. And someone said his actor is related to Kota. They're both brothers in real life, not in the show. Preston is an amateur stage magician and apparently a preppy rich kid who becomes a Power Ranger fitting in with these characters of different class. And get it? His name's Preston and a magician says Presto. Get it? It's a pun. Are you laughing yet, kids? Kota taking his shirt off hot. Cole, hold my drink. Leo, hold my beer. Yeah, Leo and Cole did it first. But women really love Kota. Sledge, but close enough. Sorry, my bad. Hi, Preston. I don't remember anything about you. Yeah, I've never watched Ninja Steel. I like magic, so I can imagine it was supposed to be kind of a male Zatanna as a Power Ranger, which could have been cool. Seeing a stage magician as a Power Ranger sounds awesome in concept too, but unfortunately haven't watched the show, and I have not heard any positive news from Ninja Steel, so he's not going up high, so he's going up on Blue Who. Speaking of which, let's get our last one, Ravi from Beast Morphers. I have not watched Beast Morphers. He's also gone on to Blue Who, so I don't know anything about Beast Morphers other than Venjix came back. I've only watched clips of Evox when he was revealed to be Venjix and seeing his new powers. That is all I know about Beast Morphers. Venjix came back and he was actually the twist villain Evox. So, don't know anything about Ravi, so he's gone on to Blue Who. Preston is the Zatanna's lost brother. Also is in the ABCs of Wipeout. Peter Sudarso is his actor. He is in Apartment 210 YouTube channel. Yeah, a lot of Power Ranger actors went onto YouTube. Kind of glad, too, because it's fun seeing them again. Alright, finally on the last two, and I do know these two very well. So, let's get the bad one out of the way. Power Rangers, the reboot movies, Billy. Yep, this is Billy. Looks just like David Yost, right? Okay, so apparently they gave Billy a race lift. He's now the black guy because they didn't want to offend people with that stupid BS that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was racist because the black guy Zach was the Black Ranger and Trini the Asian chick was the Yellow Ranger. Like, it's all BS. People are overblowing it out of proportion, and it was not problematic, but yeah, Zach and Billy got race swapped, and Billy became a black guy, and ironically, for what was supposed to be a progressive move, they do follow the black guy always dies cliche very closely. Yeah, the Black Ranger's an Asian one that time around instead of Trini. This guy would be more better as Zach. Yeah, he should have been Zach. This is 2017's Billy, and okay, so he's not the worst of the Power Rangers. He's actually the sympathetic one. Like in Mighty Morphin, he's the loser node, but he's, loser nerd. He's this doormat, this shy one, the outcast. They, for some reason, made Billy autistic, and it never, and I mean never, comes up at all. It's like, you don't have to be autistic to be socially awkward, you know, but yeah, he's autistic and special that way, and I guess it's supposed to make him seem smart and representing handicapped people too, but did nothing. You kind of forget about it. Billy's the loser dweeb. He's bullied. Ironically, not by Bulk and Skull, but this loser Justin Bieber dipwad. Yeah, he beats him up when he gets his ranger powers. Billy's the sympathetic one, but it just kind of made him seem too pathetic, even by Hollywood nerd standards. But Billy, basically the loser who gains the ultimate power, becoming the badass Blue Ranger we know and love from Mighty Morphin. I might put him onto C. Yeah, okay, so he does fare better than most of the reboot Rangers. I think Billy and Jason were easily the most likable of the team, but that's not saying much considering how badly they screwed them over. You know, I might actually drop him down level. You might put him on to D. We'll put him above Noah at least. Yeah, so Power Rangers 2017, I have not changed my mind. It is not a good movie. I think it is a disgrace to the Mighty Morphin legacy, mostly because all the Rangers are unlikable. He was autistic? Huh. Yeah, apparently, if you read Wikipedia and interviews, Billy was supposed to be autistic, but it never, and I mean never, comes up. It's like, you don't have to be autistic to be socially awkward and shy, you know, but Hollywood loves doing that for some stupid reason to the point where it would ruin The Predator. But yeah, Billy's autistic and he's antisocial, he's a nerd, and he basically mixes with this group of kids who never would have hung out with him, and they gain the ultimate power. Billy is at first actually excited to become a Power Ranger because he beats up the idiot bully. Again, not Bulk and Skull being the idiot bully, but yeah, he beats up Justin Bieber, gains super strength and powers, starts to gain confidence in himself, and then he dies. Yeah, Billy is the one who dies, which I find it funny that they were afraid to be racist and changed him black, and Billy, the black guy, follows the black guy always dies cliche. Rita Repulsa kills him, he drowns, and Jason feels guilty about it, but don't worry, Billy comes back. They use the Mighty Morphin power to revive him. Billy was dead temporarily. He comes back to life and finally becomes a responsible Blue Ranger and learns from his mistakes. Yeah, he would be better off as Zach. Where's Dino Fury's Blue Ranger? He's also going into Blue Who, but where is he? I guess his tier list didn't include him. Oh well, Dino Fury's blue would be on Ollie. I think his name Ollie would be on Blue Who. I don't recognize him, so don't worry, you're not missing much on that conversation. Yamato Kato is his actor in the Japanese version, and the Black Ranger is the Asian one. Yeah, that kind of confused me. Zack should have been Adam in this movie because he's an Asian guy, and it doesn't help that he looks like Johnny Young Bosch, but yeah, Zack is an Asian dude, while Billy's a black guy. Whoa, I'm black. No, you're not. Get it? Because Billy's a black guy calling him out? Yeah. Yep, he's going on to D. Since he's like Adrian Agreste of Dino Fury with it having a mom who's that female scientist form. Yeah, even though it's not in this continuity with the series, I'll stick with the 90s Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze over the 2017 movie. Yeah, Ivan Ooze, S-tier villain. He was funny. Scientist from Miraculous Season 4, episode Rocketeer. I remember that one. She didn't get a call from NASA, so she turned evil. Okay, so Billy, basically loser nerd, undergoes his arc, becomes a badass, and they form their odd friendship, and it's implied they're going to become the Mighty Morphin characters we all know and love, but like everything, Billy was not handled very well. I put him onto D because he fared better than the others, but I think Jason was easily the best of that lineup, but that's not saying much since he was not high tier on my Reds either. So Billy will put onto D. He was just more likable than the douchebags of the Mighty Morphin team in the 2017 reboot, but not by much. He's going on to D. Did not care for him. But let's end this on a positive note with Psycho Blue. Yep, we saved him for last to end on a high point. Melto is Ollie's Japanese counterpart. So, sorry I don't have Ollie from Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury on here. I guess they didn't include him, but he'd be on Blue Who just because I haven't seen it, so you're not missing much. But ending on a high note, Blue Psycho Ranger, our last Psycho, going on to S tier. Yeah, isn't really any surprise. The Psycho Rangers are awesome, and Blue, despite having the easiest, simplest character, definitely no exception. This guy was creepy. Blue is pretty much the brute. He's the psycho who likes killing and hurting people. A full-blown sadistic soldier who is very much out for the blood of the Blue Ranger. And he is very creepy, psychotic, dangerous, and has that vicious battle axe. He is pretty much a threat even amongst his fellow psychos. Very much can't control his anger and psychotic need to kill, which made him easily the craziest of a gang of psychos. And believe it or not, Psycho Blue is voiced by friggin' Wally Wingert. Yeah, Wally Wingert, the Riddler from the Arkham games and other Batman material, plays the blue one, and it is pretty funny because he has the line, "We're smarter than you," and anyone who's played the Arkham games will find that so hilarious. The best character from the 2017 film was Tommy's empty chair. Oh, burn, Masked Maillard. Ollie became the first Blue Ranger who became evil and follows Lord Zed in Cosmic Fury. Oh, that sounds pretty cool, actually. Also, Beast Morphers should have made Dr. K and Navy Blue Beast Morphers. They should have. Summary, Psycho Rangers tier list, please. Oh, they'd all go in S tier. They're all cool. Yep, Psycho Blue gave TJ PTSD. Dumb TJ. Honestly, an Evil Rangers tier list could be cool. Well, the problem is there's not many. There's like the Psycho Rangers, the Shadow Rangers, the A Squad. I don't think there's too many. I guess people might count the White Dino Thunder Ranger and Evil Tommy. His form is the Nezzy Bizarre. Glad to see Wally Wingert playing iconic villains. Yeah, he is so cool. It's hilarious. This was like one of Wally Wingert's early voice acting roles. I do remember he was also on Invader Zim like a few years later. Yeah, Wally Wingert got his start on Power Rangers, and he played the Blue Psycho Ranger, which is so funny because you can really hear the Riddler in his voice at times. You didn't really think you'd fool us with that old trick. And it is so funny if you played those Arkham games, because basically the blue one likes to brag that he's smarter and better than everyone, and that is pretty much the Riddler in a nutshell. Yeah, Wally Wingert bringing his egotistical narcissist game as the Psycho Blue. Psycho Blue was so scary he traumatized TJ, nearly murdered him, but TJ used his wits to outsmart him because Psycho Blue was strong, but he wasn't smart. He got duped by the Rangers spray painting their suits blue, fell for the Silver Psycho Ranger trick, and TJ eventually gets the best of him, and his monster is an ice monster, which is very cool, pun intended. He's like this weird ice stalagmite monster. Everything he touches freezes, and the Megazord actually unlocks a new, like, heat wave ability fighting him because he was that OP to take down. I love that. Out of all the Psycho Rangers, he actually changed the environment. He was so strong that his ice form brought a snowstorm to their battlefield, and he froze the Delta Megazord and Zane's Megazord. They were like completely frozen in place and almost died, and they used like the heat from their ship to light up a missile and basically fire a bomb that burned him to death. That was a pretty epic Megazord battle. And as you would know, this would not be the end of the Psycho Rangers. They came back in the greatest crossover to the 10th power, and once again, Psycho Blue, obsessed with killing the Blue Ranger, he can actually defeat Kai. He and his Psycho Pink ambush Kendricks and Kai, and he actually does get the drop on them, so definitely did not slouch in his battle power. Then we get that epic moment where the Space Rangers and Galactic Rangers double team the Psycho Rangers, where they all die for good, and that is tragically the last we see of Psycho Blue unless you read the comics. Boo. Okay, catch up on comments. I'm here now. Moonwing Entertainment, you're very late. Yeah, Wally Wingert was awesome. True. Like, why didn't we have the Riddler from the Arkham games use his Psycho Blue line? Probably because the writers did not know Wally Wingert starred on Power Rangers early in his career. Yeah, Wally Wingert became a much more bigger voice actor. After Power Rangers, Psycho Blue was like one of his early roles. Then he was on Invader Zim. He's one of the almighty tallest aliens. He's the Riddler on the Arkhamverse. He is friggin' Ant-Man Hank Pym on Earth's Mightiest Heroes, underrated cartoon, that kick-ass Avengers show, and he's appeared on Family Guy. He's one of those muscular guys, the old-fashioned strongmen. Yeah, he and Seth MacFarlane bounce off each other pretty well, and it's pretty funny knowing he got his start on Power Rangers. Summary on all the Psycho Rangers, please. Opinions, I meant. Okay, as a whole, I love the Psycho Rangers. They made my top 5 scariest Power Rangers villains, if you want my thoughts explained better there on that epic video. But the Psycho Rangers are awesome. They are the best villains in Power Rangers history. They kick ass. They are the greatest example of evil counterparts. Being evil Power Rangers, they nearly murder our heroes, so they are threatening. And they all had a wide variety of personas to bounce off each other. Psycho Blues being that he was much more the brute forced everything, brute strength, thought he was better than everyone because Wally Wingert always plays that character type. And very much, I would say, the savage beast of the Psychos because he traumatized TJ. He was out for friggin' blood and had a much bigger temper than Psycho Red, ironically. Yeah, his ice attacks, wish he used those a bit more. This was a fun tier list, Cat. Looking forward to the finale of the Slappy for Bride of the Living Dummy. See you next time. Yep, Bride of the Living Dummy, available on Patreon now, so check it out. It's pretty fun. Boo. You already got all the Psycho Rangers ranked in opinion. Can you repeat your opinion? So, Killer Frost minion. Yeah, that's kind of the perfect comparison. Psycho Blue is Killer Frost, but a male. I had no clue the Riddler was Psycho Blue. Yeah, Wally Wingert played Psycho Blue. That is the funnest fact about him. He, I believe, is the only Psycho Ranger who had a big voice acting career. I know the Psycho Yellow kept appearing in Power Rangers. Psycho Yellow would actually play the mermaid Chad fell in love with, so she was pretty hot in real life. So he is the Thunder Crapper of Power Rangers. Yep, that is him. Thunder Crapper really loved this guy. Each Psycho Ranger opinion. Okay, they're all S tier, but Psycho Red really liked him as this creepy leader. He undergoes the most development, and I really liked how he took his fight with the Red Ranger seriously. Psycho Pink was the Psycho who hid her craziness, but just barely. She tried to be the straight-laced soldier, the loyal one, and she proved to me be the most dangerous of all. She succeeded at killing Kendricks. Psycho Yellow really liked her. She was kind of the mad genius strategist. Liked how underhanded and backstabbing she was. Psycho Black, he was the least psychotic, but there was something creepy about him. He was much more cold, calculating, very much the no-nonsense Psycho of the team, but also did have a bloodthirst within him as he really wanted the Black Ranger dead. And Psycho Blue, easily the brute, the one who was a sadist, full-blown loved killing, and that's what made him kind of scary in his own right. He was the Psycho who lived up to the name. Good for Psycho Pink, proud of her. Yeah, Psycho Pink was the one who succeeded at killing a Power Ranger. Albeit indirectly, but yeah. Like it was done with red, green, white, black, yellow, pink, and blue. Oh, there's also Psycho Green, who is also S tier. He was an evil Tommy. I believe his name was Trek. I'm sorry, I mixed him up with Darkon's origin, apparently, but we've seen, like, how many evil versions of Tommy Oliver. They started to run together. But, yeah, Psycho Blue, he is S tier because all the Psycho Rangers are S tier. So, he is a true blue, even for the dark side. But, yeah, that pretty much completes our tier list. We talked about them all. Sorry, Ollie's not on here, apparently, but he would have gone under Blue Who anyway. So, no big deal for us. Plus, we might be doing these tier lists again once Disney makes more shows. So, kind of surprised. We got a lot more good Blue Rangers this time around, and a lot less bad. Yeah, that's a first. We don't even have more than 3 bad Blues. Got some Blue Who's, but again, pretty good roster this time around. No wonder the Blue Ranger's so epic. Got a lot of great characters for him. So, that completes them all. I'll go over it one last time for any of you late birds, or any of you who just want to skip to the end and let me say who ended up where. Red Psycho Ranger, he was awesome. He was the evil leader. I talked about him in depth on my top 5 scariest Rangers tier list. It is quick, but that's go there if you want my thoughts put together. But anyways, let's go over it one last time for you late birds. So, Rock Bottom, shut up, Dax. Yep, he is the worst Blue Ranger of all. Dax sucks. He is easily our dead last Blue Ranger. Then, Justin. No, my opinion has not changed. Turbo really sucked, and Justin getting too much spotlight and being the annoying cutesy kid character did not do him justice. So these two are easily the barf Blue. Do not like them. They are a disgrace to the name Ranger. Then Blue Who. Ollie would have been on here, but here's Jungle Fury, here's Preston, and Ravi. Just don't know anything about them, have not watched their shows. They are definitely a mystery for me, but you want to know where they're at? They're here in Blue Who. Then D, our duds. We have Kevin, he's boring. We have Noah, he's a ripoff, a full-blown ripoff of Billy, and not a very good one. And we have Movie Billy, who was also bastardized by the 2017 movie. No surprise there, he made it to D instead of F, because he was at least sympathetic. But yeah, these 3 easily duds. Then C, we have our below average. We have the Blue Alien Ranger, who did nothing because the Alien Rangers were not well developed. And we have Max, who I just didn't care for. That's really all it comes down to. I just did not care for Max. He was not one of my favorite Rangers. He falls under Taylor, where they were there but didn't do anything for me. Oh, in order, who is the best Psycho Ranger? Okay, Psycho Pink would easily be number 1 because she succeeded. Psycho Pink is my number 1. Number 2, Psycho Red. Number 3, Psycho Blue, because he was awesome, Wally Wingert. Number 4, Psycho Yellow. Number 5, Psycho Black. If Psycho Green was in there, I might put him still under Psycho Pink, but above Psycho Red. Because Psycho Green was a pretty badass character, but Psycho Pink actually succeeded at murdering a Ranger. I thought Psycho Green murdered Zordon, but apparently that was a different character, or it was non-fatal. Should be called Extra Rangers tier list, because not all of them are 6 Rangers. Yeah, we did have some 7 and 8 Rangers, didn't we? We should have called it All Billy Clones the Max Kante. And it's done. This is Dragon Ranger Akira signing off. Bye, Akira. So, B, our okay ones, Chad and Madison. Did not hate them. They had a lot of decent moments. I would definitely say they were B-tier Blue Rangers. They were fine, but not all-stars. Then A, our all-stars. We have Kota, Rocky, TJ, Ethan, and Blake. These guys are actually pretty kick-ass, pretty underrated Blue Rangers. They had a lot of high point moments. I'm not too deep into Dino Charge, so Kota could have been S tier. I wanted to love Ethan, but he was overshadowed. Blake is awesome, but just severely underdeveloped, which is why he faded in the background next to Tori. And TJ I thought was alright, but the sins of Turbo definitely hold him back, and Rocky got fully redeemed. He is now an A tier, but he doesn't make it to S because he got replaced by a child. Still, I would say these guys are pretty cool Blues. I would not fight with anyone if they would defend that they were their favorite Blue Rangers. They definitely did a good job. But the true Blues are S tier, are perfect representation of the color of the ocean. Psycho Blue, Psycho Rangers are awesome, so of course he's up here. Plus he's voiced by Wally Wingert, so that made him extra cool. Kai, a character I did not expect to love, which shows me how good Lost Galaxy truly was. He is a underrated Blue Ranger. Speaking of which, Flynn, I'm Scottish. Badass Blue Ranger. RPM is a good show. I really wish he got more screen time, but Flynn, he was fun. He is definitely a beacon of hope and truly became a hero. He's a true Blue for sure. Lucas is cool. He's awesome. He's badass. He's fun. I do like him a lot. I love Time Force, so yeah, my bias is showing, but what can I say? Blue Ranger being the cool guy is definitely smooth. Then Billy. Surprisingly not number 1, but Billy is a classic. All the Mighty Morphin Rangers from the first generation are all cool. Billy underwent the best character development next to Tommy and Kimberly, so of course he's up here. Billy is easily much better than his loser replacement in the film, and David Yost is legendary, so of course he's 3rd place on True Blue. Then Sky, SPD Blue. He is awesome. Sky actually went down as one of the best Blue Rangers of all time, had the best character growth, and the show basically testing him and making him mature into a Red Ranger made him a very fascinating character. But as a Blue Ranger, he is great. He is 2nd place to me. But surprisingly, our 1st place is Tori, Ninja Storm Blue. Yeah, Tori is cool. She's badass. She's well-loved. She is also pretty hot, so yeah, that bias is showing. But Tori, I will defend, is an awesome Blue Ranger and one of the most well-liked ever. She is our number 1 Blue Ranger. So you got that. Tori's number 1. Dead last is Shut Up, Dax. Worst ever. Yeah, Tori, easily our number 1 favorite, because Tori is just plain awesome. She really made her splash. And that's pretty much every color ranger tier. Great as always. Hope to see the mentors, main villains, or extra rangers tier list. We'll see. We'll see, Shadowlink. I know a lot of people want the odd colors out, so that's most likely, but mentors and villains sound a whole lot more fun. But we're finally done with the primary ranger colors. We did it. We talked about them all. Take one last snapshot if you haven't seen. Don't worry, Justin and Dax are bottom 2, but got a lot more positive this time around. So, we'll see what we do on the next tier list. May do a horror theme. May do another Rangers tier list. We'll see what the fans want. For now, I do have a video. We completed the Slappy Saga, available on Patreon, so check that out. Don't know when the next tier list will happen, mostly because I had free time this time. There wasn't one yesterday, but might do a Rangers tier list, might do a horror tier list, might do something completely random just to throw you off, but thank you all for joining me. I really had fun doing this. The Blue Ranger is definitely a fun one because I realized how many of these I actually really enjoyed. But yeah, Blue Rangers are awesome, and we had a lot more positive this time around compared to the last one. Thank you all for joining me on these tier lists. They are pretty fun. I'm glad you like them, and we'll see what we do in the future. Bye, everyone. Great vid. Now we can go back to pretending Operation Overdrive doesn't exist. Yeah, thank goodness. Alright, so I'll set you guys free now, so thank you all for joining us. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I'm Scottish!